Businesses are not built on motivation, they are built on discipline. And let me be clear, numbers matter. People be like, oh, those are vanity metrics if you don't have them. And sometimes we will use like our employee mind to make entrepreneur decisions. And we're wondering why it's not working out. But when you're an employee, when you use your employee mind and something goes bad in your business, you start having this victim mindset of like, who's gonna help me with this?
Why you take me?
And it's like, it's you, sis. You gonna help us. I'm about to open up the playbook, okay? In Dallas last year, I actually talked about high-level marketing strategies that can accelerate your growth if you're selling B2C or if you're selling B2B. Meaning, it don't matter what kind of customers you got. The next video that you're gonna see is one that you need to see in order to grow your business. So come get these high-level marketing strategies that we showed last year at the Dallas tour stop. And if you have not gotten your ticket yet to the Your First Corporate Offer Tour, you're about to see some information that's gonna wanna make you hit the buy button as fast as you can because the tour is selling out fast. Go to www.speakyourreadycash.com/tour, get your ticket, come on back to this video, and let's watch this information. Because we ready to market like some moguls. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, we need to practice that little intro. We gonna be ready for Atlanta, okay? We gonna practice our timing, our comedic timing. I didn't even know you still had a mic. I'm like, where is this coming from? Hey, Christelle. Christelle, say hi. That's my daughter, you guys. Christelle came to the Houston tour stop and she walked up to me. She said, Mommy, where is your stage? You're just gonna speak from the floor. I said, Christelle, this is a smaller event, babe. This isn't our live event in October. She said, okay, whatever you said. I'm like, okay, Christelle demands a stage. But I'm so glad you guys are here. We're so honored to have you. Who's excited to be here? All right. So look, Dallas, we had a time in Houston, but we are excited about Dallas. And the first thing we want to do is figure out who's in the room. Is that okay? Okay, because we want to tailor this conversation to the people that are in the room. And I want to make sure that everyone leaves with exactly what they need. Say need. Need. And I want to make sure you don't leave with the same problems you came in with. Is that all right? If that's all right, say that's all right. That's all right. But that requires that we are honest. Somebody say, tell the truth. If you have a problem, if you have a question, if you have a need in your business, this is the room that can solve it. Is that all right? Okay, now, here's the thing. This is what I know about us. I know, look around this room. Look how beautiful everybody is. Look how fly everyone is. I had a makeup faux pas in Houston, and so I called my tried and true makeup artist and got her on a plane. So I'm feeling quite good this morning, okay? I didn't have any issues with my makeup this morning. I was like, this lady, you have secured your spot for all of the tour, okay? But one of the things that happens is even when we look wonderful and fly like you and all the people in this room, sometimes we hide behind the beauty and we don't share our problems. But this particular event is about you solving your business problems. The reason it's called the Speak Your Ready Cash Resurgence Tour is because this is a business revival. I don't know if y'all knew that. Now, just because I'm from a churchy background, so I just want to let y'all know, we don't need white sheets. We're not slaying anything. Nothing weird will be happening, okay? So for everyone who's like, uh-oh, I didn't sign up for this. I don't do business events where I like trick you, you know what I mean? And it's like, call to the altar. But it is a business revival in that many people have been out of touch with the reason they're in business. And the reason why people are out of touch with the reason they're in business, and let me tell you, y'all want to know how it shows up? Say, tell me. Tell me. It shows up in how hard you go for your business. How many of you started your business because you wanted to help someone? Say, me. Me. And how many of you sometimes forget the people that you were supposed to help because you don't want to post? I ain't looking at nobody. Because people be like, Ashley, how do you go so hard for your business? And I was like, I'm not even going hard for my business. I'm going hard for the people I'm called to help. And that's the difference, because it's not about me if it's about the people. And I'm going to tell you how that shows up. If you want to know, say, tell us. Tell us. There are some people who will be like, hey, I'm supposed to help. I'm supposed to do all this in business. I'm supposed to help all these people. I am supposed to change the world with my business. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, but I just cannot be consistent. And I'm like, what you mean? Because like the vision be big. You'd be like, I'm going to change the world. I see my cybersecurity sister back there. So glad to see you. Like, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to make sure no kids get on the wrong internet sites. I'm going to do all the things that it takes to change the entire world. And then it'd be like, but the thing that's taking me out is posting. And I'm like, how is posting taking you out with a vision that big? And then people will be like, God called me to this business. God of everything. The God who made heaven, earth, me, mama, daddy, auntie, Pookie, all of them. I'm like, oh, well, that sounds like a big God. And they're like, but I can't pitch nobody because I'm scared to get rejected. So then pitching's taking you out. I'm like, dang, these things seem so small compared to such a big vision. Posting, pitching. The other thing that I see people not doing enough in their business is being like relentless. I don't know if you all heard of Tim Grover. He has a book called Relentless, and it's such a good book. Who's read that book? Okay, you should totally read it. That guy is so intense. If you think I'm intense, I got nothing on Tim. Like, Tim is so much more intense. I'm gonna need another marker that works. It was a bucket of markers up here. I'm gonna need that. Oh, none of them work? Jesus, be a marker. What? So there's posting, there's pitching, there's all these different things that can stop you. But even like in that, right? So there's some people that be like, oh, none of the markers work. I'm not going to use the whiteboard. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to da-da-da-da-da. There are so many obstacles that came before us coming to this event. So many obstacles that happened behind the scenes. And nothing was going to stop us from doing this event. And I need all of you to understand that you're not in business to feel good. You're in business to make impact. And let me share a sentence with you that I want every single person to write down. Businesses are not built on motivation. They are built on discipline. Can I say it again? Yeah. Businesses are not built on motivation. They are built on discipline. Which means when you don't feel like it, you have an opportunity. And the opportunity is every single time you don't feel like doing something in your business and you do it, your reward is discipline. Doing business when it feels easy doesn't build discipline. You only get to build muscle when you are putting strain on the muscle. You don't build it when it's easy. So this is the easy part. Like me speaking to y'all, that's the easy part. The irritating part is the logistics, the organization, the talking to the team. I love my team. Shout out to Team Speak Get Ready Cash. I don't like meetings. I don't like doing little things that don't have big impact. Like, I'm just one of them people. I'd be like, why am I doing this? This is so simple. This is a $5 task. I don't know why they got me doing this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like that. That is the thing that, ooh, my man is good. Ooh, give it up for Chris. Yes. So like literally, businesses are not built on motivation, they're built on discipline. The reason why we aren't consistent is because we are confusing motivation and discipline. Motivation makes you feel good. It doesn't build anything in you. Right. It builds interest, but it won't build discipline. And for what all of you are called to do, it's going to take discipline. Okay? So I want to find out what you all are called to do. Raise your hands real quick. How many of you have books that you think have sold less than 100 copies? Raise your hand. Okay, so I just learned this recently because, y'all want some book behind the scenes? Yeah. Child, I done learned some book stuff that is really good recently because I'm in the process of selling my next book to HarperCollins. And I got an agent, and I have the same agent. I can't, Sarah Jakes, we share an agent. It's a thing. Tony Robbins, him too. Dr. Phil, just a couple people in my industry. So I share agents with them. My agent just had a meeting with HarperCollins. Do you want to know what HarperCollins was most interested in? I feel like no one tells you all this stuff. No one tells this. I did not know. First of all, I would have been sold a book. I did not recognize this. Okay, HarperCollins was most interested in my Instagram followers and my email list. Do you know, they basically were like, they did everything but make me an offer before even seeing the book proposal. They've had a meeting with me, they've had 2 meetings with me and 1 meeting with my agent, and they've never seen the book proposal. I just pitched them verbally on the book. Now, I got the deal with HarperCollins because HarperCollins saw me speak at a conference. I spoke at the Black Christian Influencers Conference. Here's the thing. The Black Christian Influencers Conference is almost like a assembling of all the Black Christian influencers. So HarperCollins was there because they were interested in not selling books to just authors or not buying books from authors. They wanted to buy books from people with influence. And so I was talking to the sister there because she was a sister, and she's a sister. Like our last call was like, and girl, and I know, you know what I mean? So like we just chatting it up. I don't know. One of the members of our community was like, hey, Latasha, you need to meet Ashley because Ashley runs Speak Your Way to Cash and she writes books. And I was like, yeah, I actually have 3 manuscripts, 2 of which I haven't published because I have been saying that this next book is my New York Times bestseller. And I didn't want to self-publish it. So it's been finished for over a year, but I didn't publish it. And the reason I didn't publish it self was because I've been telling Chris, I don't know, I'm just gonna get a New York Times bestseller. And he was like, okay. And so we just didn't publish it. And I read the manuscript and it wasn't as good as Speak Your Way to Cash. So here's the thing, when you put out something great, your next thing can't be whack. So it was done, but it wasn't right. Now, peep this. I am someone who really believes in you all selling your stuff hardcore, but it should be right. Because right now, and this is nothing people ain't gonna tell y'all, it's a lot harder to build a business now. When we started when did we start our business? 2018? It was a lot easier to build on solely organic traffic. Why is that? Because the algorithm wasn't algorithming in the same way. And I felt like when I was posting, people actually kind of saw the posts. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit more challenging now in some ways, and it's easier now in other ways because now ads are easier to run. So Facebook is decentralizing the advertising game. What that means is when you run your ads now, you can just say, hey, I'm gonna do what's called advantage plus marketing. That's when Facebook says, hey, I'll just find the people for you. It used to be that I had to target. I'm like, send me to everyone who likes Sarah Jakes or Lisa Nichols or all these people. And now Advantage Plus Marketing has been getting us lower cost per lead. Now, if you don't know what any of these words mean, just say me. Okay, now, for those of you who don't know what it means, what you need to be writing down are the terms you don't know, and then later you're gonna go back and Google some stuff. Okay? Now, for those of you that do know what it means, I saw my brother here nodding, like, makes sense. I heard someone up here like, yes, they are doing that. Okay, great. So y'all peeping game. You see somebody nod your head on the break, you go to them. You say, okay, now you was nodding your head when she said advantage plus something about the market. Is she trading stocks or is she running ads? I just wanna know. So that's that, right? Now the publisher is interested in Instagram followers and email lists. And what they told me is most authors write books. But as a business, we only make money when the author sells books. And so I told her, because I'm about to pitch, I'm like, look, Latasha, let me be honest with you. I do have 111,000 followers on Instagram. However, I'm not an influencer. I'm a businesswoman. And guess what? There's a lot of influencers around here that have millions of followers and don't make millions of dollars. Yeah. So what you want is a businesswoman who happens to have influence. And she was like, that sounds great. This is what we need. Now, it was a ton of influencers there, probably hundreds. I would venture to say that they don't got these deals. And I don't think that it's because they couldn't get the deal. I think that it's because they didn't follow up. And do y'all know, I almost didn't follow up, and it was my daughter who literally brought Latasha's card to me when we were in New Orleans speaking at an event, who was like, Mommy, you need to call her. I was like, I messaged her in that moment. And within 2 weeks, I had an agent, and they're doing secondary conversations with HarperCollins. HarperCollins is one of the big 5 publishers. Now, there's 5 big publishers, the same way there's like big 4 accountants, big 5 this, big 5 that, Ivy League schools. HarperCollins would be considered the Ivy League of the publishing industry. They're one of the top 5 largest publishers in the world. Why is that important? Because your advance, now this is, y'all, Houston didn't even get all this knowledge, okay? I don't know what it is about Dallas. Dallas feeling like y'all need these top level information, okay? I don't know. Don't tell Houston I said it, okay? If you live in both states, don't say nothing. But when you get an advance, basically what that means is they are paying to buy your intellectual property for that book. But they give you that money up front. They pay you in 4 parts. Let's say you get a $100,000 advance. You're gonna get $25,000 at signing, $25,000 at some point when you submit certain chapters, $25,000 later, $25,000 after that. Your agent typically negotiates your advance. They negotiate your deal. Now, because HarperCollins, the publisher, so basically you have the agent, and this is how it typically works. Normally, your agent shops your book to a variety of publishers. Most authors want to be at one of the big five because they have more resources and more of an advance. Now, here's what I wish I would have known. I had to learn all this in the last 2-3 weeks. If you go with a smaller publisher, typically your advance is smaller, and also they don't have as many networks, because here's what happens. When you get an agent, you don't just want any agent, okay? When you get an agent, you want to look at who else does the agent represent. Why? Because then that becomes a part of your network. So when you're promoting your book, they can go and say, hey, Sarah, I know you have Woman Evolve coming up in 2026. I don't know if you have your speakers, but this lady, Ashley, needs to speak at Woman Evolve. They'd be like, Tony Robbins, I know you have your big event coming up, Unleash, make sure Ashley's on the roster. Because the agent knows all of her different clients. So the agent represents all these people, and she will draw connections, because the agent's goal is for your book to be a New York Times bestseller so that they can then go and make your next book even bigger. The way it's been explained to me is your publishing deal is almost like a music deal. Your first one typically isn't that good unless you come with certain sales statistics. If you can show the publisher, hey, I'm gonna make you money, then it's a different ballgame. So in my meeting, now this is how it typically works. Agent shops you to publisher. Here's how it worked for me. Ashley got her own publisher from speaking, and then because I had a top publisher, I was then introduced to a top agent. Because typically agents don't want to work with people outside of, if you look at their roster, almost everyone is a celebrity. And I was on their Instagram, I was like, everybody's a celebrity, except it was one lady who I didn't know. And then I looked at it and she was a celebrity sister. So it was like, okay. Now, I happen to have a friend who was also represented by this agent who connected me. But when he connected me, he was very clear. Hey, I will do this, but I've done this before and she has declined to work with people because she's highly selective. She's also the president of the agency. I can't say the name of the agency yet, but it is what it is. Now, once we sign our deal, I can say the name of the agency, right? That was my deal with them. But I told them, because they had a confidentiality clause in the agreement, and I was like, let me tell you something, I'm a coach, so I'm gonna tell it. So you gotta let me know exactly what I can tell, exactly what I can't tell, because I'm gonna tell it, I'm gonna sell this proposal for a lot of money, I'm gonna just keep it 100 with you in a buck, you know what I mean? I was like, I just keep these contracts clear, I'm like, she was like, oh my God, that is so thoughtful for you to be so transparent. I was like, so I can't sign this clause, so change it up. So I got a publisher first interested, and I did all my meetings with the publisher and asked them a ton of questions. One of the things they were interested in was hey, I went to Ghana last year, and we're taking a group of entrepreneurs back to Ghana. And when we went last year, we did an event, and it was 350 Ghanaian entrepreneurs. So I want to do my Africa book launch in January of 2026 when I go back to Ghana. I was like, my clients will be with me. It'll be a big event. It'll probably be thousands of people this time. So, that's a thing. The woman happened to be married to someone who was from the diaspora, and she's just like, oh my God, this is huge. So I'm telling y'all this because when y'all negotiate y'all big deals, don't leave out your international connections. That was another thing that the publisher was very interested in. She was like, you have an audience in Africa. I was like, yeah, I planned this event in 3 days, and we had 350 people show up. And then I showed her video of the event. She was like, this is incredible. I was like, look, I'm a big deal, baby. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you, ma'am. I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all. So literally, the publisher came first, the agent came second, and then the agent is now, once I realize I'm gonna have an agent, the agent is gonna negotiate the deal with the publisher. And if this publisher does not sign the deal, this agent is going to shop the book to all the other big five publishers. So she's telling them now, hey, give us your best offer on this book, because if it's not something we can accept, we're gonna shop it to all of the other big five publishers, big four. So that's kind of how that worked. Now, I say all that to say, I did not know that I could literally get paid for writing my book. So when you get a traditional book deal, you don't have to write the whole book. You just submit a proposal. They pay you before you write the book. They pay you to write the book. And a portion of that money you can use for marketing the book, advertising the book, doing all those things. Now, had I gone to a publisher without a plan and without sales stats, it wouldn't have worked out. But I just straight up told them, I was like, ma'am, I make X amount of hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. If I'm gonna take time away from my business to write this book, I need at least a 6-figure advance. And I was like, and I want to keep certain rights to myself. I was like, I want my movie rights. I want to be able to take it to the movie. Now the agent, some agents only can do like, they're literary agents. They only can shop your book. My agent also has experience shopping books and turning them into films. So she would go and pitch to like the Netflixes and the Hallmarks and get this Think Your Way to Cash book into various different formats. Is this good stuff? Yo, I did not, I had to learn quick, okay? And when I needed an agent, someone said, hey, I was like, I need an agent, what am I supposed to do? Because I've always thought, it's hard to get an agent. She was like, oh, put it on Instagram. I was like, for real? She was like, yeah, for real, just put it on Instagram. So I put it on Instagram, and we had like so many agents that wanted to work with us. And then this is a gangster strategy, y'all. Once we had a lot of agents willing to work with us, I called my contact at HarperCollins and was like, hey, I have all these agents interested. Which one should I choose? Talk it through with me. Now, why would I want to do that? Because you want your publisher to be on your side, right? And you want your publisher to know that you have a lot of agent interest, because what does it do? This works in any industry, in any field ever. If you are in demand, you automatically are more valuable. I could have chosen on my own. I could have not told anyone. I could have not made an Instagram post. I could have not made a big deal about it. But if a part of the appeal of them working with me is that I have influence, then we want to continuously let them know this is how influence works. Plus, genuinely, I don't know a lot about which agent to choose. I'm not familiar with all these different agents. And so she was really great about, hey, this one is amazing. This is our experience with this one. This one will get you in all the big ones. This one probably won't. This one will do this. Because she's been in the business 20 years. And why not be friends with your publisher? Because your publisher is also who will determine if you get more money or less money for ads, for PR, where they'll place you, what they'll do with you. So all of that is really critically important. All that to say, there's a whole lot of ways to make money as an expert. The thing they told me about traditional publishing is he was like, yeah, I see you doing all these launches. You ain't gonna wanna do that when you're 65, 70. He's like, but you know what you're gonna wanna do? Roll over, talk to your writer, get a book written, and go play your tennis. And then have your next book deal will be $1 million. So what they say is the advance is good. You have to earn out your advance. Now here's the stat. Only 0.5% of authors sell more than 5,000 copies of a book. Self-published. 0.5% of self-published authors sell more than 5,000 copies of a book. We had sold more than 5,000 copies of Speak Your Way to Cash without really pushing the book. We use Speak Your Way to Cash behind every single funnel. Every event, it's an upsell or downsell. Everything you buy, it's an upsell or downsell. On our webinars, it's an upsell or downsell. So with the books that you all have, you can always relaunch your book, but what you should be doing is pushing the book, and the book needs to be written to actually sell your other offerings. Because even if you get a 6-figure advance, that's not enough for you to, 6 figures is just not enough money. Like, that's just your intro. Now you get a 7-figure advance, you can do a little something. But a 6-figure advance is like your intro, right? Like, so you get that and you reinvest that back into making the book highly successful because of all the other opportunities. Once you're a New York Times bestseller, your speaking fee can be anywhere from $40,000 to $80,000 per speech. So that's a game changer. Because I was talking to Lovey, who has tons of bestsellers, and she was saying she was very incredibly helpful through this process. She has some publishing resources and stuff for people. But one of the things she told me, I was like, okay, Lovey, look, I already, I'm making money out here. So tell me why I would, because it's easier to self-publish. This process is longer, it's more arduous, there's other people involved, they approve this, they approve that, so it's easier to just put a book out. So I'm like, what is the financial upside? And she was like, well, speaking fee could go, if you do a New York Times bestseller, your speaking fee can go from $40,000 to $80,000. I was like, let me get to writing. Let me get to writing this book. I never knew, And so there's a lot of opportunities to do things like that when you are able to come with your own stuff. Now, none of this happens without me building my brand and not stopping. So check this out, you guys, because this is the part of it that people sometimes miss. When we started our Facebook group in, I don't know, maybe it was 2016, 2017, we had 0 members. Now we have 12,000 members. We just kept doing the same group. The name of this group actually has changed several times. It was like, the first name of the book, I think it was like, Write Your Book in 30 Days. That was the first name of the book. It changed, and then we did, okay, let's do Speak Your Way to Cash. And what did I do to grow the group? Live videos. Here's the other thing. How many of you are overwhelmed by putting out content? Raise your hand. Okay. It's probably because of the way you're thinking about it. Hey, Carolee, Mastermind in the building. It's so good to see you, man. Okay. Live videos. Now, here's what we did. Instead of just doing live videos in our group, we recorded the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast and streamed it into the group so that I was getting 2 assets with 1 stone. Now what we do, because you can't stream into Facebook groups anymore, which I think is really bad. There's some hacks that Zoom has, but it's not as easy. Now what we do is I make YouTube videos, and that 1 YouTube video becomes 15 to 20 reels. So a lot of our reels are like from our main YouTube video, and we tell people to comment podcast, they go to our YouTube channel, and now we're able to we just got approved for monetization on YouTube. So that is like another way to do it. So your long form asset can become various other assets. So you can work once, get you an editor, and then that person can transform that into more information. Now, here is the other thing. When we talk about sales, you guys, your content is not your sales vehicle. Your content is your marketing vehicle. So content is going to do this. It's going to attract people to your brand. Now, you're going to need to actually convert those people to sales. Right? And so you want to make sure in your content, whether it's free content or it's paid content, you're always talking to the person who you want to inevitably be a customer. Even in the free content. So let's talk about elevated language. How many of you do coaching? Raise your hand. Okay, that's like a lot of the room. Hey, coaches, what's up? Good morning. Yes, shout out to y'all. It's always dope when coaches get coaching, right? So, okay, so you all do coaching. There's something that happens with coaches is like we're very heart-centered. Like we really do be trying to help people get results. I believe for most coaches, it's not about the money. I actually think that the reason coaching gets a bad rap is 1, because it's unregulated, 2, because people can just, go live and be like, now I'm a coach. But the other reason is just because the coaches who get the most visibility aren't always the coaches who have the most credibility. Can we be honest? And for a long time, this really frustrated me because I came from a law background. I was a trial lawyer. I left a $300,000 trial salary. I was on partnership track. I was doing trials all over the world. One of the reasons I'm comfortable speaking, and make sure you're not recording, honey. You're not? Okay, good. Awesome. Okay, good. One of the reasons that I decided to do speaking and I was comfortable speaking was because I did jury trials. And a jury is literally the most uninterested audience in the world. They don't want to be there. They're paid peanuts to be there. They're mad at you for them being there. And most lawyers are so boring that they're literally sitting there falling asleep. So I learned how to make a jury, like jurors would be knocked out. I did one jury trial where I was like the lead attorney. The jury was basically like, they were asleep when other attorneys were up. I would get up, they'd be like, she's up, come on. Because I would literally Olivia Pope that courtroom. I'd be like, okay, you said blah, 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 blah. Is that a lie? They'd be like, oh my gosh. I just was like, we about to make this thing lit. And most lawyers actually were so irritated at my style in the courtroom because they're very rigid and boring. But one of the partners was like, no. That lady is like Superwoman. Let her do her thing. Because he realized the jurors were asleep when the other dudes was up. So he was literally taking business from partners like, no, give her the next cross-examination. She's gonna win this thing. I also learned how to leverage bias. How many of you feel like you're not getting enough visibility on social media because you don't have the BBL aesthetic, or you don't have the look or the colorful feed or the pastels, anything, anyone's or you're like, well, I don't show my Maserati, so nobody's looking at me or whatever, right? Has anyone ever felt that? I don't do lifestyle, so this is that. Okay. Y'all, this is a difference. The real experts care about their craft sometimes more than marketing their craft. Yeah. Right, that's why we be studying and reading and doing stuff. The problem is, if you don't learn how to market your craft, you don't have any customers. So there's something called like the income impact continuum, right? Let's say over here, this represents income. And let's say down here, this represents impact. If I don't sell people more stuff, my impact is limited. If all I make is $100,000, then I've only impacted like 50 customers. But if I figure out, okay, how to market and how to sell, I can make $20 million. I'm gonna impact more than 20 million customers. Because there's something called ripple impact. So if I go back and impact you all, change your lives, y'all do your thing, y'all go back home to your husbands and you're different, you go back home to your friends and you're different, to your moms and you're different, to your kids and you're different, to your friends and you're different, to your wives and you're, like everything changes if everything changes. But most of us are so frustrated by not being visible that we focus on the frustration more than the skill of getting visible. And the only thing that happens is your impact is halted. And let me be clear, numbers matter. Say it with me, say numbers matter. Numbers matter. People be like, oh, those are vanity metrics if you don't have them. Because if you have them, they get you book deals. If you have them, you impact more customers. I don't need to make all that money. I literally heard someone say this. They were like, I'd rather have a profitable 6-figure business than a 7-figure business that's not profitable. I was like, wow, that's so foolish. You must think you know more than Amazon. Maybe you know more than Apple. Because most tech companies spend more money acquiring subscribers than making a profit on subscribers in the beginning. Let me break this down. Can I break it down? Say break it down. Because we gonna get rid of the ignorant internet information. First thing we gotta do, dismantle that. Second thing we gonna do, make some money. Is that cool? Say cool. So let's get rid of this. If you have a 6-figure company and you make $100,000 and you're profitable $50,000, that's good, you're 50% profitable. But if you have a 7-figure company and you are profitable only 5%, for instance, you've made millions of dollars, you're profitable 5%. Most people will say, well, I made more money with the 6-figure company take home than I did with the 7-figure company. But that's short-sighted. Because a 7-figure brand also has 50,000 plus people on their email list, whereas you don't. And when you have more money in your bank account, you know what you can do? Big companies manipulate numbers legally. So how do I make my company more profitable today? I fire staff. I cut my ad spend. I can make my company as profitable as I want it. But when I only had a $100,000 business, how do you make your company more profitable when you don't have the assets to make it more profitable? You only have $100,000, whereas $1 million company can make itself as profitable or more as a $100,000 company. A $100,000 company cannot make itself with the numbers that it have as much money as $1 million company to play with. So don't be fooled by the internet. Your goal is to make a whole lot of money, and then you have numbers to manipulate. Now, when I say manipulate, I mean legally and ethically. I don't mean fake P&Ls. I mean looking at your numbers and saying like, okay, we're gonna spend $10,000 on ads instead of like $50,000. Like for this tour, we knew we weren't going to spend as much money on the tour. Our goal was $3,500 per tour stop. So we couldn't spend $50,000 on ads. So what asset were we able to use to do the tour with spending only $3,000 on ads for all 5 cities? We used our email list. We used our social following. We used all of the assets that we have because we've grown our business. So the reason why Netflix and Apple and Uber will spend all that money acquiring subscribers, even if they're not profitable, is because customer data is an intangible asset that actually has numerical value. You just don't see it. So what does this relate to you? Your email list has value. Your Instagram has value. You know what else has value? Your trademarks. We have over 50 trademarks on file. When we negotiated with the agent that I told you guys about, one of the things she said was she was like, Ashley, some people come to us with a book idea for a moment. But as I hear you talking, you are building an enterprise. I said yes, because what I told her was, I was like, hey, the name has to be Think Your Way to Cash because we're actually going for a trademark that requires us to have a series of books with the same name. So we got Speak Your Way to Cash, Think Your Way to Cash, Sell Your Way to Cash, and then we have Millions from the Stage, et cetera, from the stage, blah, blah, blah. So I was showing her, I was like, we have over 50 trademarks on file. You all can't own Think Your Way to Cash. I already own it. You know, I will let you do a copyright on it. She was like, oh, so this ain't about no book. I said, oh no, I was like, no. And the reason why I'm careful about giving you my media rights is because I've always seen this book becoming the next secret. So I have this idea for Think Your Way to Cash where we're gonna make it a documentary and it'll be the next secret, but it'll be a real secret for Black folks, right? Because it really ain't no secret. So I want to change this book into that. And so I'm explaining all this and I'm telling her the IP I already own for all of this. And that also made her more interested in doing the deal. So what short-sighted business people tell you is only focus on your numbers, like your profit margins or how much money you're making in your business, right? That's short-sighted because there may be a year, what's your name, sister? Sarah. Okay, there may be a year where Sarah's like, all right, this year, we're gonna make 10 million, but I wanna spend all of it. We're not gonna be profitable at all. Now, check this out. Her business not being profitable doesn't mean Sarah don't take home a $500,000 salary. Can we talk business? It just means the company at the end of the year doesn't have additional revenue left over. But Sarah got her salary. And let me tell you something else. Have y'all heard about people taking out debt and loans and all of that? There are some companies that are negative millions of dollars by the end of the year. Well, how is that? Because they take out loans, they use the money now, they don't pay it back in the same year that they take it out, and so they're able to keep functioning in the red. Why don't small businesses do that? Because we don't take out capital. And you're like, well, that's scary because I don't do credit, I don't use credit. Well, then you're not ready to scale. And let me explain what scaling is. Can I tell y'all the truth? Say truth. Y'all all right? Say, we're all right. Scaling is accelerating results you've already earned. It is not growth. It is acceleration of results you already have. What do I mean by that? I mean that if I were running Speak Your Way to Cash and it was all by referrals, I wouldn't be ready for scaling because there'd be no way for me to predictably accelerate that result. I could say, okay, well, I want all of y'all to refer one person, and maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't, But once we started growing our business through paid advertising, well, now we can go to investors and say, yeah, our cost per lead is about $15. Over time, the average customer spends about $1,000 with us. We have about 35 customers on our list or 35,000 people on our list who've never spent $1 with us. And everyone who's given us 10,000 or more has been on our list for at least 30 days. So what do they know? They know, okay, well, if $15 per lead has gotten you to $2.5 million, then if I give you $500,000 all for your ads, you could probably get to 5 or 10 million. So now they can accelerate the results that we've already earned because we have a customer acquisition strategy, a sales plan. So where people mess up is if I give you, what's your name? Rachel. Okay, if I give Rachel $500,000, if Rachel doesn't know how to accelerate the results she's already earned, she could use it on things that don't make her money. So then that loan is bad because now we don't have a way to make that money make money. And to be clear, loans are not student loans when it comes to your business. It's capital. So when you're getting money for your business and you're getting capital, all you're doing is buying money. Somebody say buy money. So when you're thinking about getting money for your business, this is way deeper. I feel bad. Maybe we should give them the recording because this is like really good stuff, actually. Every city's gonna be different though. It is what it is. When you are buying money, y'all just really need this information. Because I literally prayed this morning, like, okay, what you want me to say? And like, y'all must be like high-level entrepreneurs in here. Because this is like not even on the schedule. Okay, we ain't even done a slide. When you are getting money for your business and you're buying capital, right? Say buying capital. You want to know how expensive is the money. So all you want to know is, like, let's say they are willing to give me $100,000. If they give me $100,000, I want to know what will I have to pay back. So if I pay it back in like 90 days, and because now here's what some people will do. They'll say, okay, I'll give you $100,000 if you pay it back by the end of the term. Meaning if I take whatever the term period is, if it's 9 months or 12 months, you pay it back by the end of a 9-month term, you're gonna have to pay back $150,000. Now, how do I evaluate whether I should take out this loan for $150,000? This is really high. However, they may say, and this is a question I always ask, okay, but what if I pay it back in 3 months? Oh, if you pay it back in 3 months, you only got to pay us back $115,000. Okay, so the money costs me less if I pay it back earlier. Now, people, I don't know if y'all know this, y'all could literally just buy money. So you would basically be like, hey, I'm gonna pay you back 15 grand. I'm paying 15 grand for 100 grand if I pay it back in 3 months. So what I need to know is if I take that 100 grand today, can I turn that 100 grand into more than $115,000? And I want it to be significantly more. For me, when I'm evaluating, I'm like, okay, well, if I can turn 100 grand into 200 grand, I will pay you 15,000 and still be profitable. Y'all see that? Everybody with me? Say with me. If you got lost, say I got lost. Y'all can be honest, it's cool. I got lost a little bit. Okay. So look, in this example, because y'all need to buy money, I'm gonna be real with you. It's a good thing to buy. But you just have to know how you're gonna make the money back. So even when I'm buying coaching, like that's how I look at it. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm gonna buy this program, it's 50 grand. Like I was in a program, it was 55,000. And I didn't love the program, I'll be honest with you. I didn't even like the program. But I got this relationship out of the program. And I love the relationship. Because with this relationship, I've been able to just meet whoever I want to meet in Atlanta. I hit him up. I'm like, hey, bro, I want to go to this place. He's like, it's done, sis. I'm like, this dude is plugged. So like, I'm like, yeah, it's worth it because of the relationship. And it's been ways for us to make money together. Like all these different things have come out of it. So with everything I buy, I'm like, all right, I spent 56 grand for the program, but what I got was a relationship. And then I asked myself, is the relationship worth more than 50 grand? Yes, easily. So I would pay that money all day. But every time you buy anything, when it relates to your business, you need to think of it. Okay, I'm buying this. What am I buying? And some people, oh my gosh, some people confuse what they're buying. They be like, I bought a coach. No, you bought a community. That's right. Right? And so it's like, the reason I don't join some coaching programs is because I don't value the community. And I don't want to be affiliated with all communities either. Some stuff I've bought and y'all will never know because I hide it in the crevices of my heart, okay? Like I just be like, I ain't gonna tell nobody I did this. Because I can't be affiliated. Like I learned a little something from the person. It's like, I like you, bro, but I cannot be publicly affiliated with you. You are shady. But I'm gonna learn what I can. I'm gonna learn what I can over here. I just cannot risk anybody knowing that I learned that from you, okay? Not today. But some people, it's like, I'll join and I don't care about the coach. I just want some of the relationships that are in the community. And here's the thing. I have bought into things because I wanted to get close with like the person who was leading the community. And then I met them and I'm like, oh, we actually don't click. But I was cool with that because I was willing to buy the opportunity of a relationship. And here's the thing. Real entrepreneurs don't need guarantees. Can I be real? Say real? Real. Only fake entrepreneurs need guarantees. Let me break it down. When you are an employee, you are guaranteed a check every 2 weeks. What are you guaranteed that by? The law. It's illegal for them not to pay you every 2 weeks. You have recourse if they don't pay you every 2 weeks. But when you decide to be an entrepreneur, you are literally saying, I no longer need safety. I no longer need security. I am willing to walk on water for as long as it takes to make this vision come to life. And one is not better than the other because I loved being an employee. I believe if you're going to be an employee somewhere that's lit. I had a great job. I still have benefits. I have alumni benefits from my firm. They gave me a concierge that I can use for the rest of my life. Me and my team. Literally, they let me add my team to my concierge account. So if they need to research anything, y'all know what a concierge is? So a concierge, all they do is like they will research anything for you. They will make all your appointments. They will hire your car service. It's just bougie stuff. They do anything. They'll find venues for events. They'll find nannies for Christelle. They find doctors when I moved. They found organizers. They do everything. They get stuff printed and sent to my house for free for the rest of my life because I work somewhere that just valued people. So I love being an employee. Like I think it's great. However, it was secure. Entrepreneurship does not require a guarantee. And sometimes we will use like our employee mind to make entrepreneur decisions. And we're wondering why it's not working out. Employees get mad when it's not security. Like I've had people come and work for us and they're like, Ashley, I just need a 90-day onboarding. Where's IT? I'm like, ma'am, how did you get through the interview process? I'm like, it is me and my husband in our basement. I don't know I'm like, yes, I mean, it looks great on the outside. I mean, we love it, but like, we work from home, ma'am. Like, there is no IT department here, okay? But that makes sense because employees need security. Employees also need guidance. They need a lot of guidance. Like sometimes they'll be like, okay, well, you didn't say that. I'm like, but ma'am, what do you think? You know what I'm saying? So the best people we work with, like, look at the volunteers here who've been amazing. Wave your hands, you guys. Like, y'all are incredible. Every time we do an event, and we would hire someone from the outside to try to run the event, it would almost never work if it was a pop-up. But every time we get people from our community, it's 100 times better. Why? We're all entrepreneurs. So we be thinking, even if I'm working in your business, I'm thinking like an entrepreneur. I'm like, she don't got time for that. Like, let me do this. She told me today, she was like, you shouldn't be working here. Sister back there was like, let me go help that lady with your baby. Because she, you know what I mean? She walking back here helping her with the baby. I'm like, okay. Because we are literally like entrepreneurs. So we agree, like, we're going to think. We're going to lead. But when you're an employee, when you use your employee mind and something goes bad in your business, you start having this victim mindset of like, who's going to help me with this? And it's like, it's you, sis. You gonna help us too. Y'all want to know why most coaching doesn't work? Because people aren't hiring a coach. They trying to hire a boss. Can we be honest? And then sometimes, ladies, sometimes y'all husbands be mad at us. Like, she paid all this money. And I was like, man, look, bro, I'm with you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm on your side, young king. You know what I mean? What you want me to do? I done told the woman what to do, but I don't know what you want me to do. I'm like, okay, what do you think you want to lead? So you're not hiring a coach, you're hiring a boss. So you want to hire someone to tell you what to do because you have decision fatigue. And you want to know why you have decision fatigue? Because you're not moving in your instincts. Entrepreneurs make money from their instincts. How you're going to make your money. Okay, how am I going to approach this deal? Most of you will look at like the Speak Your Way to Cash book, the Pitch Your Way to Cash. Any Pitch Your Way to Cash membership people in here? Yes, y'all in the building. Woo, 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 woo. Yes. So like in the membership, we'll give you guidance and templates, and it's really, really good. Is it good, y'all? Yes. Fire, right? We'll give you that. But what I want you to do with it is not only use that. I want you to look at it and be like, now what do I think? How could I do this better? And I want to say this very clearly as the person with the mic. I don't have better ideas than you for you. Because I don't know your vision. I know what you've told me you want to do. But entrepreneurs always have vision. That vision, I believe, is divinely imparted within you. Like there's some things that like, what's your name, brother? Derek? Okay, there's some things that if Derek walked into a room and I walked into a room, but like there was something in there that was aligned with Derek's expertise, he would literally see it differently. Because he has vision. What did you do? What do you sell? Oh, okay. All right, well, let us know when you decide what you want to sell. We're going to help you. Okay, so like literally if Derek walks in the room, he's like, I have an idea for this business. Okay. I can do the piping in here. This is good. I can hire some contractors. But if that's not my thing, I wouldn't even see that. Like, I literally would not even notice. Like, my husband would be like, you didn't notice this? You didn't notice that? I'd be like, bruh, no. I only see what I'm supposed to see from my life. And that includes everything. He'd be like, you don't know where your pajamas are. You don't know where your house shoes are. I'm like, I'm focused on my business, okay? Like, Chris be able to find everything. Chris says he's a good looker. I'm like, I am not. I see my vision. I see my family. I don't see any of the little things. Like my next YouTube video is like 25 things I outsource because I do not focus on things I'm not gonna focus on. So entrepreneurs have vision, right? We have vision. That's all we're gonna see. But employees have like sight, maybe. It's like you see what's in front of you. Like my boss told me to do this report. I'm not thinking about 20 other reports that need to be done on the back end because I'm not paid for that. That's how they think. Entrepreneurs will do it without pay. Literally, we start businesses without pay. And so you want to make sure that you aren't using your employee mind to make entrepreneur decisions because employees buy and entrepreneurs invest. So when you're an employee, you may buy something to help you with your job. You'll get reimbursed for that. There's no risk affiliated. But when you're an entrepreneur, you're going to invest in your business. Now, why are you going to invest in your business? Here's the thing. You're going to invest in your business with the rigor and the urgency that you believe your calling has. With the rigor and the urgency that you believe your calling has. For us, if I know someone has information I need, I'm going to buy it quickly because, like, I don't got time. Chris always tells, he's like, you're always, like, moving fast. Where you going? You know, and I'm like, places, brother, places. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like I don't have time. And a part of the reason why a lot of entrepreneurs don't make more money faster, y'all want to know? Say faster. Is because you got too much time on your hands. And you're too comfortable. Yeah, sound effects, that's what I'm talking about. Like, you're too comfortable, right? You're too comfortable. So you want to make sure that you aren't getting caught up in that. So let's see who's in the room. Let's see who's in the room. And actually, you guys, I was supposed to explain how you buy the money. I'm going to do it real quick. If I take out a loan for $100,000, if I pay it back in 3 months, it's going to cost $115,000. That means in 3 months, every month, I'm gonna make them a payment, and it's gonna total at the end of $115,000, right? Now, if I pay it back in 9 months, it's going to cost me $150,000. So here's what you look at. One, can I pay it back in 3 months? Can I use this $100,000 and within 3 months put it into a vehicle that will yield more than $115,000? If so, then I bought the money, because you're gonna pay $15,000 for the money. The difference between these two numbers is the cost of this money for you. So in 3 months, this money is gonna cost you $15,000. If you pay it back in 9 months, the money is going to cost you $50,000. Now it just becomes like anything else, right? If I pay $15,000 for something, what return do I need to feel comfortable with paying $15,000? For some people, it may be $30,000. If I can make an extra $30,000 or an extra $50,000, it's worth it. But at $50,000 in 9 months, I need to feel like, okay, can I make at least $200,000 with that money so that I pay $50,000 for the money and I keep $50,000 for me? Your business will be better off. So this is how you evaluate. But with everything, that's how you're evaluating it. And here's the other thing. Interest can be written off on loans. Interest and fees. Where the accountants at? Any accountants in the room? You writing off your interest, you're writing off your fees. So talk to your accountants about that. But that's how that works. So that means that this $15,000 might, depending on when it's paid and how you do your taxes and all your stuff, might even be a write-off. So that's another consideration. So now you're buying money, you're writing off the additional, and you need to still make that money make money for you. Y'all with it? Yeah. Did that help a little bit? Yeah. Okay, cool. So now we're all on the same page. So let's see who's in the room. I believe there's probably like 3 or 4 different types of business in the room. There are some of you guys who are pre-revenue. Pre-revenue is just like, I have a business, I have not made money, revenue yet. If you're pre-revenue, raise your hand. Like, you're here to kind of figure it out. Okay, awesome. And then we have some people who are post-revenue. You probably made money in your business, but maybe you're under $50,000. If you're in that category, oh, you did the wrong one? Okay, no test, no grade. If you're under 50K in your business, raise your hand. Okay, if you're over $50,000 in your business, but under 100,000, raise your hand. Okay, shout out to you guys. Here's the thing. The average receipts of a black woman-owned business is $26,000. So you all who are over 50,000, you're actually doing good, and you're above average in our field. We need to change them numbers, but we're above average, right? If you're over that, right? So then we have our people who are already 6-figure earners. You're making between $100,000 and $500,000. Where are y'all at, the 6-figure folks? All right, awesome, cool. And then we have our 7-figure businesses. You're already doing $1 million or more. Anyone already doing $1 million or more in business? Okay, awesome. Shout out to y'all. Come on, girl, that's good. And shout out to everyone who's doing 6 figures. So our room is really diverse. Here's what that means. I'm going to talk to all of y'all, and if you need additional help, we'll take a couple of breaks so y'all can network and get some additional help. Is that cool? Okay, but I don't want to like slow it down. Deal? Okay, cool. So now that we know who's in the room, We're about to speed this thing up. Now, before we speed it up, we're going to take a 10-minute break because we actually had some refreshments for you guys because it's going to be a long morning. We're going to go in until the afternoon. We'll do a 10-minute break. So your North Star offer is a company's primary product or service that guides all other offerings and strategies, serving as the ultimate destination for customers and the core focus of business efforts. Let me make it very simple. It's the offer, it's like your ultimate offer. It's the way that you're able to get your clients the best, most efficient results. All of you sell services, right? Yeah. Any product-based businesses in the room? Okay, awesome. So your North Star offer may look a little bit different if you're a product-based business and if you're a service-based business. So if you sell services, for us, it's our mastermind. The goal of our company is to solve the small business sales problem, predominantly for Black experts. Like, that's pretty much who we're doing it for. That's who we have. Look at the room. I mean, you know what it is. Ain't nothing, look around. So that's pretty much who we serve. So our North Star offer is our mastermind. How many mastermind members or alum we got in the building? I know we got a couple. Hey, shout out to y'all. So when you're in my mastermind, I'm your coach, like your personal coach, right? In that offer, we work together for 12 months. Most people, 12 months up to 3 years. We've had some clients over 4 years, 5 years, but that's where we do a lot of deep work. It's also where you can ask me questions throughout the year, etc. And we have a ton of information in there on every stage of your business, not just one. Now, people who join that program, though, have to qualify. Someone say qualify. Somebody say it ain't for everybody. Say we picky. Because we is. You know what I mean? I know that ain't technically good grammar. But we are. And so maybe everyone doesn't qualify for your North Star offer. So for you, I know you sell products, but like maybe every client isn't ready to have a beautiful custom gown and get it made, but they could do ready to wear. So your North Star could be custom, but that could be super exclusive and elite. And then your other offers will point to that customized offer, right? And so your North Star offer, I believe if you sell services, should also be your offer where you can do your best work and you have the best margin. Meaning, you need to charge for this. If you sell to corporations, it might be a licensing package. It could be a bundle of things that you are giving to them. If you sell to colleges, it could be a series of workshops. It could be a monthly retainer. If you have fractional chief services, like I do fractional, anyone do AI? Oh, okay. I gave a fire strategy to this brother. I don't know if he's using it, but I told him he should have chief AI officer services for companies. Fractional chief AI officer services for companies. So all of his other offers will point to that chief fractional AI officer. And that could be at $10K a month all the way up to $20 or $30K a month. Several of our mastermind members that have been able to land six-figure contracts have gotten retainer contracts, and those can be renewed annually. So imagine every month you have clients paying you 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50K a month, and they just keep renewing every year. And based on what they pay, like at 10K, it could just be advisory. At 20K, you maybe will do a little bit of work or check some of the work for their employees. At 50K, you could actually do some services and get in there and attend meetings and do more. So you think about, can you offer some fractional services? So your North Star offer needs to be the way you're going to help the most people, get the best results, and you feel the best served as the business owner and the person delivering the services. Which you don't have to deliver the services, but if you do. So that's your North Star offer. So every other offer has to point to your North Star offer. Does that make sense? So with us, we have our mastermind. Everyone's not ready for that. So how do we get them qualified? We have our free group, right? We have our free Speak Your Way to Cash podcast. We have our low-cost book. We have a membership. The purpose of the membership is only to pitch. It's not let's build your business for this price. The membership is under $2,000. So we're not going to we have a mastermind we have a $50,000, $100,000, and $30,000 mastermind. We're not going to have a membership at $2,000 where we do the same thing. It doesn't make sense. Also, the less experienced someone is, if they're in the growth stage, they need to be in the membership. Why? Because here's what people in the growth stage get: overwhelmed. Easily overwhelmed. Why? Because you're still in that employee mindset. What do employees get? Overwhelmed. That's why they're stressed out. Seriously, I was getting my teeth cleaned, and the lady was like, so what you do? And when I don't want to explain what I do, I just say I'm a consultant. I'm like, I own a consulting firm. But then, when they nosy, what they say? What kind of consulting firm? And I'm like, here we go. So I tell her what we do. I'm like, we help experts sell to corporations. So she tells the dentist who walks in, this lady helps experts sell their businesses to corporations. I'm like, ma'am, that is not what I said. But I'm like, I don't got time. I'm trying to get these teeth clean. I don't got time for like the back and forth. No, actually what we do, we have these events and it's like we be doing the electric slide, but then we also learn a lot. And then sometimes I preach, but not really. And then, you know, like it's too much. It's too much to explain. I'm like, no, I don't do that. I just help. I was like, I offer sales training for entrepreneurs. She was like, okay, well, do you help any dentists? And I was like, no. I was like, maybe because dentists are happy. She was like, oh no, we ain't happy. I was like, what? She was like, actually, we have one of the highest suicide rates. I was like, why? She was like, well, people hate going to the dentist, and so all their anxieties they bring on us. And I was like, dang, I never even thought about that, because I just be chilling in this chair. I'm like, y'all can't like give them nothing for the pain, you know? She was like, no, people don't like coming to the dentist. They're mean to us. They're very rude. I'm like, dang. So I didn't even know that, and it made me think. I'm like, okay. I was like, so you're not happy? I was like, so then, you know, coach is what we do. Now I'm in the chat. Then she gonna charge me for it. That's why I don't like getting caught up like this. I'm like, so what are you doing about this, ma'am? Like, are you trying to look at other alternatives? Are you trying to, well, there's no room for me to grow here. And then I find out she's not even a dentist. She was like, I'm a dental hygienist. So I was like, well, can't you become a dentist? And she was like, I don't want to do that because I just told you they're unhappy. And I'm like, okay. I was like, so do you want to be an entrepreneur? Like, what would you like to do? And she was like, well, I'm just overwhelmed with all of it. I come to work and I'm really stressed out. And I was like, well, what stresses you out about work? She was like, well, I don't really know, because at this office, the dentist who runs the office, who's the entrepreneur, has created a really great environment. And I was like, okay, so why do you want to leave? And she was like, well, it's just too much. I have no room for growth and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, this lady just told me she's not the dentist, so clearly that's room for growth. And then she's like, she doesn't like her boss. I'm like, okay, so she was like, I do like my boss, but I didn't like my last boss. And she told me he pays her well. And this is what I mean by employee mindset. She's sitting up here with all these problems, and I dig deeper, and I'm like, lady, you don't got no problems. You don't have another thing you want to do. This man is paying you good money. You said you like him better than everywhere else, and you don't want to be a dentist. So what if you just stay and be a dental hygienist? And then she tells me that she was one of the only black dental hygienists when she graduated, but now it's more diverse. And I was like, this sounds like another benefit. But the employee mind is always searching for something different, and it gets easily overwhelmed when you're thinking of, because if we're not happy as entrepreneurs, I'd be like, let me change up these offers. Let me change up this language. Let me run a different ad. Let me change my avatar. Can we be real? Sometimes serving us can get a little stressful. I thought about it. I said, when Russell Brunson called me to speak at his event, I was like, I'm going over here with just for a minute. I'm going to be back, but I may have to go see what they talking about. You know what I'm saying? So but I'm never going to just sit in it and just be unhappy. I'm like, ma'am, how long have you had these thoughts? She was like, oh, I ain't never liked it. I'm like, ever? And I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm thinking of the poor boss that's doing everything in his power to give her more money, to do everything she wants, and she's still in here just telling random customers. It's my first time in the chair. I just wanted to get my teeth cleaned. Oh, come help me out. Yeah, there we go. Literally, I'm like, man, this is an impossible situation. This brother is doing everything right. And then I meet the guy, and I'm conflicted, because his sister who's telling me this, the guy walks in. He's not a brother, but you know. I'm like, man, brother, I wish I could just tell you who you got working here. Dang. So that's the employee mind. So in this growth phase, people get overwhelmed. So the offer that we have for growing businesses under 50K is the Pitch Your Way to Cash membership. What does it cover? That's it. It is only about reaching out to customers. Now, why is that good for growing entrepreneurs? Because if you consistently pitch, you will make money. Our first 100K came from pitching. So for all of you thinking, okay, what is my North Star offer? You want to first think about, okay, where are the levels that your clients are at? There's phases to this. Phase 1, people who are trying to grow their way to cash, they're trying to figure out 2 things: what to sell, how to sell it. That's it. What to sell, how to sell it. And for those of you in the growth phase, I'm going to help y'all get rid of overwhelm. Y'all ready? Say ready. Ready. All you need to focus on: what to sell, how to sell it. Period. People make it complicated. You need to have these funnels. No, you don't. What to sell, how to sell it. It may be a funnel, it may not. Then you want to think through what is the easiest way for me to sell it. If you are not a funnel builder, why do you want a 20-part funnel with a $10 ad spend? It don't make sense, ma'am. You know what I mean? How many of y'all got ebooks? This surprised me in Houston. Everybody had an ebook. I was like, why do you all have these books? The ebooks. They were like, man, people on the internet said, we need an ebook. I'm like, was he in a Maserati? You know what I mean? Like, you do not need an ebook. You need a North Star offer. The lower your audience, the higher your priced offer. The larger your audience, the more diversity you can have in price. Okay, she's looking confused. I'm gonna run it back. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. What's your name? Kira. Okay, Kira, I'm gonna help you out real quick. When you have a small audience, less than 5,000 people in your audience, your offer needs to be more than $5,000. Why is that, Ashley? Because if I make 2 sales at $5K per month, I can have a $100,000 business. My email list is small. I don't need a lot of people to buy in order for me to start growing my company. And with the extra, the overage, because you are going to be more profitable when your company is making less money. There's like this period. Like when we were making 100 to 500,000, I mean, it was me and a VA. We was living large. Like I was in the profit land. It was really no expenses. So very limited expenses. So what do you do with that overage? You reinvest it in ads. You reinvest it in marketing. You reinvest it in selling. So the smaller your audience, the higher priced your offer needs to be, because this is what the ebook boys don't tell you. You still got to sell that cheap ebook. One by one by one. How do I know? Because guess who had a cheap ebook? $67. My husband thought I was literally doing drugs. He was like, why did you leave a $300,000 job to go sell a $67 ebook on the internet to 5 people on your live videos? Those people are not enough people for you to sell that ebook. I'd be like, Chris, they loved it. They were saying amen in the comments. They're going to buy this ebook. It's only $67. He was like, they're gassing you. They're not going to buy anything. I was like, they are going to buy, babe. And I'm going to be a $1 million entrepreneur. He was like, $67, $1 million. This ain't making sense, you know? And I was like, my man doesn't support my business. Whole time, Chris was right. I had 5 people on them live videos. It was not working. I was getting invited to all the Christian girl brunches. Guess how much they paid me? Y'all know. Chicken dinner. Chicken dinner. They had chicken dinner for me. You know, they had a lot of, sis, you blessed my life. The Lord spoke to me and said, you are the 1 and the 2 and the 3. I got a prophetic word for you that's incorrect that I'd like to give you. One day you gonna be married. I'm sitting here married. Sis, you've been praying for a baby. Ma'am, I don't want any more kids. You know what I mean? Like, ma'am, no, this isn't happening. So like literally, that's all I got. Fake prophecies, no money. It wasn't working. Chris was right. So I was like, okay, I have to switch it up. But in the growth phase, all you need, if someone would have just told me the truth, which is like the people who are selling cheap things on the internet have large audiences. Do y'all notice we didn't have a membership until this year? Why do you think that is? Because we didn't have the audience to fill a membership. Know this. It can be inexpensive for your customer. It cannot be inexpensive for my profit margins. So the reason we have a membership, and it can be $1,000, which is inexpensive. Somebody say that's cheap. The reason you could do it for that rate is because it's you all are sharing the cost of the membership. So you think of it, you need enough people in the membership to share the cost, because it's $2,000. Now, if we only made $2,000 a month from the membership, it wouldn't be worth it for us to deliver it, because we have real expenses. Where my scalers at? Hello, payroll, it's wild out here. The first time I paid $80,000 a month in expenses, I was like, how is this even possible? I used to want to make $80,000 a year, and now I'm just giving it all away. Where is it going? Our expenses some months we've had expenses of $200,000 in a month. You know what that means? You can't make $200,000 in a month if you're paying it out. So it's a very different game. And so when I see entrepreneurs say things like, well, I spent $20,000 on a coaching program and it didn't work, I'm just like, who cares? You see, I'm looking at $200,000 expenses, lady. Get your weight up. You know what I mean? That lady took your money, whatever. Things you want to say that you can't say. I'd be like, look here, grow your way to cashers. It gets worse, okay? If you cannot lose money, you ain't ready to make no money. Can we be real? Hey, it's some things I bought. I'm like, you know what? I shouldn't have bought it, but they sold it so good. Whatever. You earned it. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. All you're focusing on here is what? What are the two things? What to sell, how to sell it. Bonus, easiest way to sell it. That's it. Do not be focused on them small digital products. Now, here's why. What they don't tell you, ain't no income passive. We just gonna dispel all the myths. Either it's passive delivery and active selling, or it's active selling and passive delivery. So of course, I don't have to like show up to your house and log you in. It's passive delivery. Once you buy it, it's passive. But what's active, very active, is me on them webinars doing backflips trying to convince people to invest in themselves. Can we be honest? I be doing everything but doing backflips, and somebody still be coming to me like, well, last time I met a lady on the internet and she said that she also helps people sell to corporate, and I gave her 50 grand, and then I turned out that this lady wasn't even a lady, it was AI. I'm like, ma'am, I don't know what you got going on with your ad algorithm, but just stay over here, okay? Like, you're always going to come up against, like what you're doing when you sell services is you are not just selling your services, you're selling against all of the faulty beliefs that they have picked up from buying from lesser service providers. Same with products. I want to literally come to you to get a dress made, but I wish, babe, can we find the dress? Can you find the photo of the last dress I got made by that dude in Atlanta and just show it to her? Okay. Please find it. It traumatized me. I paid this guy $500. I wish I had it in a slide. I'm going to use it in slides. Like literally, I paid this guy, it was like $500 or $600. Probably too cheap. Probably should have known it wasn't going to work out. But this man asked all the questions. Okay, well, tell me about your size. What do you like? Okay, sequins? Okay. I'm like, wow, this guy he's serious. I got that dress from my stylist. I said, ain't no way you bought this to me. Why would you even bring this to me? It was so bad. And he gave it to the stylist like, you think she'll like it? No, I can't wear that. But the picture was so bad that I was like, this is okay, because this is going to be a hilarious story one day. So I'll pay the $500 for the picture. Now, why did my mindset go to that? Because I'm an entrepreneur. Yeah. Win some, lose some. 500, get a good story. That's what I bought. I didn't buy a dress. I bought an experience that I can now leverage. Yes. Yes. I don't lose. Yes. And here's what y'all need to know. When you're a real entrepreneur, like y'all are real entrepreneurs, even when you down, you up. That's right. My accountant told me our expenses, we were down in profitability 20%. Anyone down a little bit this year from last year? She said we were down 20%. I was like, okay, cool. I get that. Where are we up? She was like, well, this is actually great news because your profitability is up 300+%. I said, dang, that's great. She was like, also, digital product sales are through the roof. And I was like, okay, so what the numbers are telling me is that I'm not a bad business owner. What the numbers are telling me is that in this economic climate, people want to buy things that are under $5,000. So what do? We create products that are under $5,000 because if our products that are over $30,000 to $50,000 are slowing down, then I'm over here like, okay, cool. This is a great time to launch the membership. Because, and this is the other thing, some people will be like, we're down 20%. They don't ask the next question. And when you're in build phase, you gotta get so cozy with your numbers if you wanna grow. You have to know your cost per lead. You have to know your cost per, you need to know the average amount your customer spends. You wanna know how long does it take them to spend over a certain amount. You wanna get a list of all your customers ranked 1 all the way down to like whatever it is, 1,000, 5,000, whatever, and rank them based on how much they've spent. And then you wanna highlight all of the customers you love working with, and then you wanna develop all your messaging to only talk to that type of buyer. Your numbers are critical when you're in that growth phase. Like, they're important up here, but the real numbers I tracked up here was I tracked my activity goals. So it was like, I want to go live 5 days a week. So as long as I did that, I was like, cool, I had a great week. I'm celebrating at the end of the week. If you're in the growth phase and all you're looking at is your bottom line, that's why you're not consistent. You're inconsistent because if you're in the bottom line, if you're only looking at the bottom line, then you're like, dang, my numbers are down. I'm not going live again. Dang, only 2 people liked the post. I'm not posting again. No one answered my pitch. I'm not pitching again. No, the goal for you here, and even for us all the way throughout, we believe in activity goals, not just outcome goals. Outcome goals is like, I want to make 5 million this year. But the activity goals is the actual sales plan for me to get to that. It's what I do daily, weekly, and monthly to achieve that number. Now, when you think about that, what's great about that is that means that every week you have an opportunity to get a new win. That's right. People are not consistent if it takes too long for them to win. And that includes me. We work out with a personal trainer. The first time I started with him, I lost 1 to 3 pounds every week, like clockwork. And then I started feeling myself like, oh, I'm a fit girl. I don't need to keep going to this trainer. I can do this on my own. Child, I went to that gym and didn't do nothing. I was in that gym taking selfies, lifting up. I was like, feels heavy, put it down. You know, like, wasn't doing nothing. I go back and work with the trainer. And then what happens? Oh, he found the picture. Oh my God, can you put that in a slide? We have to put this in a slide. Yes, I think I can. Yeah, look at this. This is great. This is a great story right here, guys. You cannot make this stuff up. I be going through life like a comedian. One day it's gonna come back. Like, look at this dress. You see the little, so this was supposed to be my opening dress for Speak Your Way to Cash Live, because Speak Your Way to Cash Live had an athletic theme. So the theme of Speak Your Way to Cash Live was athleticism, and I had like a basketball court on stage, and I had a beautiful custom rim. It was just fabulous. So I was like, make me a jersey dress with feathers at the bottom and all this stuff. And this is what my stylist bought me. And the thing is, like, if you know something's whack, just don't deliver it to your customer. Be like, you know what, I'm not gonna be able to do it in integrity. I can't give you this. But this is what this guy gave me. But isn't it a great story? It's just hilarious. He was proud of it. This guy is in Atlanta. I'm not gonna tell you the name, but if y'all thinking of hiring a designer, I'll just blink twice if it's him and be like, don't do it. Don't do it. I have this rule. I'm like, I try not to blast people publicly, but then like, if somebody asks me, I'm telling the truth. So just do right by me, okay? Because I ain't gonna say it on the internet, your name, but then you come to me, sis, I'm gonna be like, look, Geraldo ain't the one, okay? That ain't his real name, by the way. But yeah, so when you're in the build phase, what you have to do is you have to focus on your numbers. You have to focus on your numbers in order to get into the build phase. And so when you're thinking about what to sell, you already should know what to sell and how to sell it. Here's where you can get caught up in this phase, though. In this phase, where you get caught up is you are selling multiple things at multiple price points. Somebody said amen. You are selling multiple things at multiple price points, so there's no North Star. And so because your business is growing, but your marketing and your sales channels are so diversified, you are overwhelmed. And you're finally at the point where you're like, I have to get a VA or an assistant or someone to help, but you may not have had all the systems that you need in place. One of the things that we have in our mastermind, because this is where most of our mastermind members are, is we give them all of our SOPs. And we also show them our automated hiring funnel, because I don't have time to interview. It just is what it is. Most people can interview themselves and they can weed themselves out. So you apply online, you get an automated email from us that says, hey, this is your written application. As a part of that written application, you make me a Loom video answering all the questions I would have asked you in an interview. And then from that, I give you a deadline by which to submit that written application. I look at that, and then I determine right then and there if I want to meet you. If I do, then I do a meeting with you, but that meeting's 15 minutes to determine your character. And I'm really looking at, do I think you are a liar? Do I think you know yourself well enough to know whether you should work with me? And the question that weeds out people is always this. Tell me about your favorite boss, and their qualities, and what did they do that you liked. Tell me about your least favorite boss. Describe their qualities, and tell me what did they do that you did not like. Well, none of y'all are applying for us, so I'll say this, because like some people like I know how to answer. But the thing that I look for is like when they say things like my old boss, the one I didn't like, she just didn't check on me. She just didn't come in my office. She didn't mentor me. She didn't give me a lot of attention. She didn't I just be like, you will hate me. I don't even check on me sometimes. I'm checking on you. You know what I mean? So it's like, girl, you need to pay me to be in the mastermind. That's who I check on. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to mentor you. And you got to be careful. How many of you have a personal brand? So like people see you on the internet and they run up to you and all that. That is good for your client acquisition. It's not good for your team acquisition. Because team members think they're hiring Oprah. They don't realize people pay me to be their Oprah. If I'm paying you, I need you to be my team member. So I need you to be thinking about what I need, not you wanting me to think about what you need. She said, right, see, she right there. That's how it is. And so it's tough. And then when you work with celebrities, it's even worse because you got the whole groupie factor. And that'd be real. So in this phase, it really is about hiring. But here's what I've learned. The best team members don't need training off bat. We do a 30-day, we don't offer anyone a job offer straight out. We always do a 30-day trial. And it's a 30-day paid trial. I'm not gonna train you. And I'm gonna start giving you tasks on day one. If you can hang, you can hang. After the 30 days, we'll do a little bit of training, but I'm not going to pretend that I'm a corporation that's going to give you a 12-week onboarding. And I'm also not gonna listen to the HR gurus who say you need to do a 90-day, 120-day onboarding. I run a small business. And what's interesting is I've also worked at Fortune 500 companies. The ones who, Chris, what's going on here, babe? Hello? It went out. Maybe the other one is on. Does it need to charge? Yeah, ask the gentleman. One of the things that I found, even in working at larger companies, when I was a sales rep at Philip Morris USA, Altria Sales and Distribution, when I was a sales rep there, they did not train us. Their training was us doing the job. So day one, they said, hey, this is your territory. You're gonna ride in here with the district manager and you're gonna start selling cigarettes to Walgreens, Walmart, et cetera, and you're gonna try to get them to raise the price by 20%. I'm like, okay. And they were like, all right, cool. Good luck, here are your keys. When I was an attorney, there was no 12-week onboarding. So sometimes you guys, and this is why it's important to have depth of knowledge and experience, because there are people that are gonna tell you how to run your business who have not worked in other corporations and who don't understand how even large corporations work. Anyone who's been in leadership at a large company will also tell you that you do not get extensive leadership training. And they got the money to do it. They'll send you on them little leadership retreats. You'll climb a tree. How does that help me with my job? Kumbaya, I know nothing more, you know? And so that's that. Like sometimes the pressure we put on ourselves comes from internet reels and not from reality. So let's just free ourselves from the reels, okay? Like, it's not real. Like you literally here, you do need to grow a team. I believe you should grow a team here. I think you should have at least a VA right when you start out. I don't think you need to wait to grow a team. But I believe that what the VA should be doing is selling, not making Canva posts and checking your email that ain't got no emails in it. What is that lady managing? We ain't lit yet. Let's get lit, you know? And so this mic is not playing with me. So one of the things that, here, I'll let you all have that. One of the things, the mic is out. Somebody give me another mic. One of the things that you need to do here is you're gonna build your team, right? I also think you should have a team member here. What they should be doing is sales. So what my first VA did was outreach, 300 contacts a week. 300 contacts a week. That was what the VA did. She did all of the outreach, and her goal was to get 3 to 5 calls on my calendar every single week. She had metrics. Now, every day, our VA makes calls for our company. If we need people to do something, understand something, she's like, hey, this is my productivity report. She gives us the number of calls, how many people she spoke to, the number of voicemails she left, the number of people that said, like, if they said anything, she tells us all of that. And then she gives us a daily productivity report. So that's how you're gonna do it. So when you're building, you need team, but you need to systematize hiring. I wish I could tell y'all, man, how many hundreds of thousands of dollars we wasted on recruiters. And here's why. They come from traditional HR backgrounds. And so unless the recruiter was willing to follow our internal process, which I already told y'all is very much automated, they were like, no, this is how we do it. We do it this way. Da, da, da. I'm like, that ain't gonna work. And sure enough, it was a waste. It was a waste. Now, I'm not saying recruiters are bad, because we still have recruiters, but you can almost hire any position you want internally. What does that look like? Going on Upwork, hiring a recruiter for $25 to $30 an hour, they just work for your company and do recruiting. They will follow your process. That has worked out better for us and saved us a ton of money. We have some recruiters that are searching for like leadership roles, and they run anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 per role. And our Upwork joints have done better. Like our Upwork hires have done better because they follow our process. So you need to have a process. Another thing, here, team members that you can afford to hire here will likely not create a process for you. They will follow it. So if you hire them and you don't have a process, you're not gonna get optimal productivity. So that's why here, our offer, right? So we talked about the membership. Here we have a mastermind. The goal is getting systematized. So you have SOPs, you have all of that stuff. Somebody say systems. When it comes to your sales here, you need to determine your North Star offer, and you need to get rid of all the offers not making you money. That's right. So every year we do our end of year planning. We write out all the money that was made from all the offers. We would scrap like 20 things we were selling that didn't make no money. And even if it made like $2,000, that's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. If 90%, look at it in percentages of revenue. What percentage of our revenue came from our mastermind? What percentage of our revenue came from speaking? What percentage of our revenue came from consulting? What percentage of our revenue came from our membership? When you look at it and you see something that's like 0.1% or under 5%, if it's taking focus and energy, scrap it. And then realign your offers so that you have your North Star offer and then you have all of your other offers that point to your North Star offer. Because if you join the membership, you start pitching. We've had people land 5-figure contracts and all that kind of stuff. Now they're coming to the event. They're like, hey, I'm ready for the mastermind. Because you're generating revenue now, right? And then in the mastermind, there's levels. We have a level for people over $1 million, and we have a level for people who are under the $1 million mark. So if you join at the level for people under $1 million, if you do what you need to do, you'll make $1 million and you'll join the other level because you'll accept the guidance and counsel, right? And so how that all is pointing to a North Star. And then eventually, the goal is not, I'm gonna be real with y'all. My goal is not to keep clients forever. Because I do coaching. I personally don't believe that you need to stay with the same coach forever. I know that's unpopular, oh my gosh, but it's true. I don't believe that. I don't know if this is on or not. Hello? No? Okay, good, so I'm not gonna hold it. So I don't believe you need to stay with the same coach forever. Now, some of you sell products, you may have a forever client. You know what I'm saying? So if you sell something that the client can actively use for life, then great. But if you sell something that's supposed to get them to a particular point and then they leave, don't feel bad when they leave. It's a lot of coaches in here. One of the reasons coaches get mad is they're like, oh my God, now she's working with somebody else. Secret, it don't matter. Help them make so much money they can work with you and whoever they want to. Abundance, right? And so it's like, that's good. And then just psychologically, the longer someone stays with you, sometimes the less they start to value you. They start treating you common. So you don't really, not really for me. So there you go. So you have that at your build stage. Then your scale stage, it's really about having other people sell for you. That can happen here too. When we were at $500,000, we were hiring people that also could take our sales process and implement it on our behalf without us doing it. Without us doing it, okay? Without us doing it. So let's talk really quickly about some cash infusion strategies. And let me caveat this with this. Cash infusion strategies, they're not a way to run your business. You're not building a business for quick cash. Cash infusion strategies are to be used when you need a temporary infusion of capital that you don't want to have to go and buy, because we talked about buying money earlier. So there may be times that you need that. One of the ones, now here's the framework. And in your book, I think it's on page 7, the cash infusion 5. Okay, awesome. Here's the thing about cash infusions. You are going to make the most money from clients you already have. Cash infusion strategies work great for people who already have assets. What kind of assets? An email list, an Instagram following. Like, that's who it works really, really good for. If you don't have current customers, thank you. If you don't have current customers already, then you're going to have to do essentially a launch. Is 7? Okay. Now for your launch, yes.
Question.
Yes.
You said you make money from the clients that you already have, or are you saying clients and prospects?
No, clients. So if you're like, hey, I need to make $10,000 in the next 5 days. I'm going to ask you first, how many paying customers do you have? And if you say 0, I'm going to say, we need more than 5 days. Because you don't have that momentum that you can pull from. So there's a couple of different ways that you all can do cash infusion strategies. I'll give you some easy ones. Now, if you do not have, how many of you do not have paying customers right now? Okay, so we'll do that one first. If you don't have paying customers, you need to do what's called a launch, Launch. We can't go into all of it. But yeah, it's going to be a lot. But here's a simple way to do a launch. Let me switch, okay? It's off still. I'll let y'all work that out in the back. If you're going to do a launch, what you need is this. You need a way to drive traffic to an offer. Here's how I would do it. I would hire an influencer, someone who already has an audience, or I would ask someone who has an email list, how much would it cost for me to email your list? I want to sponsor an email to your list. And if they say, I don't know, we've never done that, be like, okay, great. I want to pay you $1,000 to send an email to your list. And in that email, you're going to ask those people to opt in to a free masterclass. At that free masterclass, you're going to sell an offer. Now, with the launch, I like to use launch vehicles. A masterclass is a launch vehicle. But once they get in the vehicle, meaning they register, you still have to drive them to buy. What determines if someone buys on a masterclass is the words and the techniques that you utilize to help them build an appetite for your offer. So 1, you have to share your expertise. But 2, you don't want to share too much. And 3, you have to make them a clear offer with urgency, meaning, hey, if you do this by midnight, you get this. If you are the first person to do this, you get this bonus or this benefit. You see what I'm saying? So that's going to be how you're able to actually sell them your offer. Does that make sense? Importantly, if you do not have customers and you do not have a list and you do not have Instagram followers, you have to drive traffic to your masterclass. The masterclass will be empty if you don't get people there. And if it's empty, there will be no one to buy. Now, here's what I know. There's about 50 of you in this room. At the end of today, there's like 56 maybe. At the end of today, there's going to be 20 of you that decide to buy from us. Why do I know that? Just math. Statistics. There's always people in a room who are like, hey, I'm here, but I ain't spending no more money. This all I got. I had to borrow this from whatever. Now, for our audience, that's typically not the majority because I don't use lack language to promote. So I don't promote like, hey, spend your last to come to this tour. I be like, look, you ain't never coming to an event this cheap that I run. Y'all should come, but please know the information will not be cheap. It's going to be expensive. And we always over-deliver. I think I made a post recently that was like, whatever you get from here is going to be 20 times worth whatever you paid to get in the room. Fair? Right. So you don't want to use lack language to promote. This is really important. So if you say things like, I want to help you make your first $500. I want to help you make your first $1. I want to help you da-da-da. You're going to get people who may not have any money. Because we don't use lack language, it doesn't mean we don't get new customers, because many of you in the room are in the growth phase. But I would venture to say, how many of you have a full-time job? Resources. Can we be real? Are we honest? So our audience is typically made up of experts who are doing well in corporate, have a corporate job, and are looking to take that expertise and leverage it in a different way. They're not even new. They're just new to the container they're looking to sell. Most have on average 10 years of experience, and 70% of our audience is married. How many of you are married? Okay, a little bit less than Houston, but about the same. So this is just like, we know this because we look at our audience, we look at their profiles, and let me tell you something else. You don't gotta fill out no form for us to know things about you. Do you know what my team did before this event? They made a document, they researched everyone, even the ones who didn't fill out the form. Thank you for filling out the form. But they went and they find your Facebooks, they find your Instagrams, and they look and see, okay, what are they selling? What are they doing? How much are they posting? Are they consistent? What's going on? And why do they do that? Because every city on this tour is different. Dallas, y'all are really about to make a ton of money, I'm telling you, because this is really high-level information, and not to say we don't give high-level information all the time, but the information is different. Houston just went through a hurricane. It was a little bit more like church, but that was what they needed. So we can't even get to the business if we got people crying in the audience. You see what I'm saying? And so I can't be so tied to slides. And this is another thing, in your master classes, I genuinely believe that as a leader, you have a sense of who you're leading. If you're too rigid, or if you're too focused on like copying certain slides or doing something a certain way, you miss the opportunity to move in your anointing. Because you can't move if you're like rigid. And what do leaders have? Instincts. So my instincts told me I need to pray before I go to Houston. I need to pray them out. I need to talk to them a certain way. We need to spend more time on mindset. And then my instincts here are like, okay, these people are coming here to get business information. This is here to give them strategy. They're going to need to take a lot of notes. You know what I'm saying? And so you got to be comfortable moving in your instincts because you are set up to do the job you're here to set up to do. Okay? So cash infusion strategy. So you have this masterclass, you make an offer. There need to be a couple of types of bonuses that you offer on this masterclass. Bonus for the first person to do something. Bonus for them to buy by midnight. Bonus for them to buy 3 days later. It could be a discount. It could be you give them something more, but it needs to be something that drives your audience to make a decision. Many people don't make a decision because you have not given them a reason to. And this applies whether you're doing corporate or coaching. Corporations, those proposals have to have an expiration date. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna send you this invoice, and if you pay it by Monday, it stays the same. After Monday, the invoice actually goes up 20%. And they're like, how does it just go magically? No, I'm gonna send you another one because that one expires, and then our rates will go up. We like to reward our clients who are decisive, like we're decisive for you. Once I decide I wanna work with someone, I want someone who's decisive about working with me. Because most people have been around. Who's ever hired a coach, bought a course, anything? Everybody sees the ads. You know real from fake by now, okay? So I want people that are decisive. So you can do things that make them drive to action. So on that masterclass, that's what you're gonna do. The most important part for you all in the growth phase doing cash infusions is paying to get people there. I cannot tell you how many people are like, okay, you told me to do 10 webinars. I did 10 webinars, and each one had 10 people. I'm like, no, that's not what I said. No, I didn't tell you that. Like, it's not doing the number of, and this is the thing, consistency won't even yield results on its own. It's consistency while consistently improving that yields results. It's the iteration, it's the iterative effort of getting better as a business owner that's gonna yield results. Someone say results. So that's what you need, okay? Now, for those of you in the build phase who already have customers, how many of you already have paying customers? Okay, great. So for you, you're gonna go back to your paying customers and give them the next step. Depending on the number you have, depending on the size of your list or how many customers you have, what we did when we had our law firm is we would just say, hey, we would email all of our current clients around Christmas and say, hey, I wanna do a New Year's audit, New Year's legal audit. And I would do it for free. Why would I do it for free? Because those little discovery calls for $97, that's to weed out people who are playing games. These people have already given me a certain amount of money, so I already know that they are capable of paying. They're a legitimate lead. I don't need to self-qualify them, right? Even this tour, I mean, $49, who cares? Let's be real. You know what I mean? It's not like we made it such a high bar. It was just something so that we got a more serious group of entrepreneurs in the room. So with your discovery call, you can waive that if you know they're already a qualified buyer. My first 6-figure legal contract came from me sliding in the DMs of someone. I wasn't like, hey, book this $97 discovery call. This person already was doing multiple 8 figures. So I was like, hey, here's my cell. Call me. I found some issues with your trademarks. Called me right away, had the client within a couple days. If you already know they're qualified, skip the steps. Because one thing about selling to people who make millions of dollars, we don't have time. My interior designer wanted me to do something. And I was like, bro, I'm not doing another call. I'm not having you at my house again. You already seen the house. Send me a Loom video with your price. I'll make a decision. And he sent me a Loom video. If he wouldn't have sent it, he would have been like, no, I have a process. I'd have been like, me too. Moving on is my process. You know what I'm saying? Like, so make it easy for people to buy from you. If you know someone is already doing well in business, why you got them going through 50 calls? Send them the link to pay. I was at dinner with someone. She wanted to join the Lux Mastermind. It's $57,000. She was like, yeah, I'm ready to join. Sent her the link. She paid that night at 2 a.m. What we talking about? You know what I mean? Like, you already know me. You already decided you want me to be your coach. Here's the link. Let's go. And so you don't want to put any barriers between that. So if you already have customers, send them an email. Say you want to do an audit, and that audit allows you to first decipher where are the areas that you can help them. So the only questions you're asking are about how you can help them. And then you're going to sell them something at the end that they need. And if they don't need it, you're not going to sell them something. That's an important part, which is why you cannot be desperate in trying to sell. Because desperation picks up desperate clients. So that, hold on now, I tell you, you gotta do this. You don't do this today? Like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna pick up, and you don't want people who are gonna do chargebacks and refunds, and you're gonna get some of that as you grow anyways. Because scalers know, I mean, it doesn't really matter. All your processes at scale kind of go out the window in terms of qualifying your customers down to this specific niche. Once you have thousands of customers, you're gonna have some bad apples. You just want it to be less than 5%, okay? And so that's that. So you're gonna email them, do a sales call, boom. And that's your cash infusion strategy. For the scalers, you could do, depending on how many people are on your email list, anyone can do this. You have over 20,000 people on your email list, 10,000 people on your email list, you could do an email launch. And what you'll do is you'll have 5 days where you tell people, hey, on this date, I am going to release tickets to whatever, or release this product, and it's only gonna be available for 24 hours. I'm gonna release it at 9 a.m. and only the first 10 people get it. But for 5 days, all you're doing is promoting the fact that on day 6, you're gonna have this sale. So you're promoting the wait list. And on that day, you drop the product. When you have that email list asset, that's another cash infusion strategy. So let's do a hot seat. Who wants me to go over there? Any VIPs want to do a hot seat cash infusion? Okay, yes, come on.
Okay, so, hey, Ashley.
Hey, give us your name and what you sell.
Hi, okay, so my name is Sarah. I run Sarah Jane Fitness, and we help women executives sustain their weight loss, feel stronger, so they can own the room, any room they're in. My question is, for an audit in terms of fitness and health and nutrition, and that's my specialty.
Oh, yeah.
We're not offering I can't offer strategies on how to maintain your health and wellness. Even you mentioned what you did while you were alone. Many people are doing that. So what would that look like from an audit? Like, hey, you worked with me for the last 6 months. You took a 3-month break. How are you doing now? What do you need?
It will be the exact same. And one of the things that you all have to do is, like, when you hear a strategy, think like, okay, how do I make this work for me? Instead of what I do is different. Every expert thinks what I do is different, but it's the exact same thing. So for our legal audits, it was like, hey, tell me about all the contracts in your business. Tell me about all the trademarks in your business. Tell me about all the copyrights in your business. Now, for you, you can leave it with her for a little bit. You don't have to, it's okay. Okay, you're fine, okay. So what you'll do is you'll say, okay, there's 3 key areas that affect people's health, right? What they eat, how they move, how they think and sleep. All of those areas affect health. I feel like a health and fitness guru, okay? Because literally when I wasn't losing the second time, he was like, okay, are you stressed? And I was like, nah. We just moved, so I live where I live now feels more like a resort than a neighborhood. So we walk, we play tennis. This is the least stressed I've ever been in my life. I'm like, bro, I'm not stressed. I took a 6-week sabbatical to start the year. I play tennis twice a week with Craig. Craig's great. I go to the club 3 times. I'm not stressed. I was like, it's not that. He's like, okay, it's not stress. What are you eating? So here's the thing. This is what we discovered. He was like, okay, tell me about fried foods, right? Tell me about any of that. Now, I don't do fried foods. I don't do drinks. And I had stopped drinking. I was fasting from all alcohol, right? Because I love wine. So that was tough. But did it. And he was like, what it is your sugar intake from fruit. Because I am really big on cherries. And he was like, you can eat berries, but if you sitting at home running through bags of cherries, and Chris totally tricked on me. He's like, oh, she eats 2 bags of cherries, the dark ones, and then she'll order another bag. And me, I'm thinking like, this is low in calories, so what's the big deal? He's like, no, but it's really high in sugar. So some fruit actually affects your weight more than others. Now, when we were eating watermelon, he was like, you can eat that all day long. But them cherries, it's dense. You can't eat that. So I'm like, I can't eat cherries. He's like, 1 cup a day. I'm like, 1 cup? What am I do with that? So it was that. So for you have those 3 buckets, right? Stress, sleep really affects it. Fitness levels, like how much are you moving? And then 2, the food. Another thing we discovered is like how, like if I'm lifting, but because I lifted before, I have to lift significantly more to gain the muscle that'll burn fat, right? And so you know what the 3 areas are, and then you just ask some questions about that. Okay, what did you eat for breakfast? What did you eat for breakfast last week? What did you do this? What did da-da-da-da-da? And then you're like, okay, great. What weight are you at right now? Okay, and what weight do you want to be at? Okay, so let's go through the audit. Because their goal is losing weight. Or it could be losing inches, or it could be building muscle. So first you want to identify what's your goal. Do you want to lose weight, lose inches, or build muscle? First 3 categories. Secondarily, it's like, okay, now we're going to do a quick audit. I'm going to ask you some questions, answer to the best of your ability. Let's go first through what you're eating. What did you eat for breakfast yesterday? Okay, what did you eat for breakfast? What did you eat for lunch? What did you eat for dinner? Okay, would you say on a monthly basis you eat fried foods 3 times a week, 5 times a week, or never? And they're like, oh, 3 times, 5 times. Also, the way you ask your questions will determine whether you get truthful answers. So if you presume that they're eating some fried foods, or how often are you drinking alcohol? Would you say it's 2 times a week, 2 times a week, once a week, or inconsistently? You know what I mean? And then you'll figure out where they're at. And then you're like, okay, we're going to develop a plan where we put you on an eating regimen. I'm going to tell you exactly what to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the next 6 weeks. And then blah, blah, blah. This is our program. This is what we do. Like we think, and then you can guesstimate. Like I think I can get you down 20 pounds in the next 6 weeks if you do exactly what I tell you to do. Fitness people, I think, have it easier than coaches. Because my trainer literally was like, if you only eat this and you do this, you will be down 20 pounds. And he meant it. And he tracks it every week. So that's how you do the audit. And at the end, you tell them the plan. Think of it like a prescription. And don't think of it like a discovery call. So you know when you go to a doctor's office and they're like, okay, so tell me, does your knee hurt? Does this hurt? Does this hurt? Okay, this is your prescription. This is what I prescribe for you to get the result you want. That's how all of us should think of our sales calls. Even your master classes. Like you need to get certain data so you can prescribe people what they need. Even in here, it's like we got our 3 buckets. So now I know what each bucket needs, right? And I can prescribe a solution. So that's how you'll do it. And then you'll just say, hey, how serious are you about losing weight or hitting this goal within the next 30 days? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I have to do it, I'll do anything to get it done. 1 being I could care less if I never do it. And then you get their number and they say, oh, it's a 7. That's what everyone says, 7. And I'm like, okay, when people say 7, I think they really mean a 4. Why don't you care about getting this done? And see what they say. Don't let them off the hook. Here's why we let our clients off the hook when it comes to sales. Because we don't believe in what we're selling enough to hold their feet to the fire. If I believe that what I have to sell can help all of your businesses in here grow, or your business will fail, the way I sell it is very different than if I'm like, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I've literally seen people, I've seen people lose their business when they've left our coaching program. And I don't think it was just because they were working with me. I think it was because of the confidence they borrowed from me to get the work done. So I know that when you work with me, your business does better. So it's like you with health, I would have gotten diabetes. I could have like not been able to be here with you guys. I would have not been able to walk up those 3 flights of stairs if my trainer wasn't like, Ashley, you're going to get fit because you are going to travel the world and do tours, and you want to be on stage with Beyonce, and you want to speak at Women of All. Like, you're going to do all that, you're going to be tired unless you get your weight together. He was like, it's not even about how, and then I started realizing it's not about the scale. I work out because I'm fit. You know what I mean? And I think for most people, it starts about the scale, but then you realize the alternative to me not taking my health seriously is dying. People don't work with me, business could die. People don't work with you, they can die. You see what I'm saying? It's way more serious. Now, business dying is actually pretty serious because poverty actually also leads to early death. But that's how y'all need to be thinking about your offers. You got a question? Yeah. Did that help you?
Yes, it did.
Okay, yeah, you could crush that, I'm telling you. And then let them buy right away. Yeah, let them buy right away on the call.
If their question is, I've been doing your program before, and I'm giving them custom strategies for the audit, but I've been through it before, how would you facilitate that? I've been through it before, or I've been through this structure.
So here's the thing, right? When do you not need to constantly be improving your health? I'll never reach a point where I'm like, I'm strong enough. Because as you get older, you actually get weaker by definition. The only way you counteract that is by consistently building your muscle. So there's really never a time, like our trainer recently upsold us on a year package. And I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna do a year because I already did 6 weeks. And I thought about it, I was like, when am I not gonna want to lift and get stronger and do more and be more athletic and get better? I think we have to stop thinking of health as like a goal and think of it as a lifestyle. We've kind of been tricked into thinking it's okay to eat this way every now and then. It's okay. It's actually not. Like, it's life or death. And who has ever had to take care of a parent whose health was declining because they did not live a healthy lifestyle?
It's my co-people. It's people that I grew up with, right? Even right now, that are my age in the 40s.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, I do understand. We even know aunties, uncles, and grannies now.
Yeah.
Papa's, right? I have to take care of
Pawpaws, yeah. Yeah, so like it's really, I think for you, you need a different revelation of your offer. All of us, the hardest sell you're ever gonna make is on yourself. Can I be really vulnerable with you guys? I didn't even want to sell my offers in Houston because I knew they just went through a hurricane. I felt like conflicted. And I always sell. You know, I'd be like, I'll sell it to somebody on the corner. But I felt conflicted because I was like, dang, they just went through a hurricane. It's so bad. Like, what if they need the money? Like, should I be just giving them all their money back? Like, what should I be doing? And literally in my heart, it was like, what do you believe about your offer? The hurricane has happened. It's bad. What happens if they don't work with you, they don't learn to sell, how will they afford all the generators they need to have if they're gonna keep living in Houston? And I was like, okay, well, if I believed that my offer could help them get to the next level in their business so they could have more money so that if something happens, they could fly out, they could provide and give more housing to whoever needs it, they could go stay at them expensive hotels, because all those hotels, do you know those hotels raise rates on them? If you don't got money in Houston right now, you're staying in a dark house for days. I think we think of growing our business as so small. Like, if y'all don't grow your business, it could cost you your life. So I had this conversation with myself, and I'm like, okay, I gotta sell it. Whether or not they're in the mental state to buy it has nothing to do with whether or not I do my job for selling it. And that's what you all have to get to too. If they don't buy, that's on them. But if you make the offer, now you're relieved of your obligation to give people what they need. If you don't buy it, that's on you. Like, God bless you. But like, I would feel bad if there's someone in there whose business fails because they don't know how to pitch, they don't know how to sell, or they go and buy something else 2 weeks later when they feel better. That's whack. Because I didn't even make the offer. I robbed them of the opportunity to come up. So you gotta think of it like that, because like your stuff is life and death physically. Ours is life and death financially, which, as we know, has implications physically. Because the only way I can afford all these trainers and tennis coaches and everybody else, which is what I needed to do health. I wasn't gonna get healthy if I was just gonna be me on an app. I don't care. I didn't care about it as enough to, come on, can we be honest? Like, I'm not going to the gym, no, that's just not me, okay? So I needed somebody to be like, Ashley, what did you eat today? Okay, get on the court. So you have to sell your offer. They shouldn't stop working with you. In your case, they shouldn't stop working with you. As long as I'm seeing results, I'm signing up with this trainer over and over and over. And even when I'm not, unless, like, if I'm not seeing results because it's on me, I'm still gonna stay. So sell them people, that's the thing, okay? Yes.
Okay, so good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Petra, and I teach self-defense
Yep.
to young girls and women, and I also am starting personal protection. So once I get to the point of where I am needing to audit that list, what is the audit strategy for personal protection where they hire you for like specific events and it's like a one-off?
So this is a
Like,
cash
what is
infusion strategy from past clients. Okay. This is a cash infusion strategy for past clients. If you're just trying to develop a sales plan for your offer, then what you need to just do is do a sales call. Like, it could very well be like an audit, but it's gonna be more so like, hey, what led you to book this call? What's the issue that led you to book this call? What happens if the women or whoever we're working with, your employees, don't learn self-defense? Okay, what are the 3 things that you're hoping that they learn by learning self-defense? How does it make them better? Do you all currently do anything? So if you're doing a traditional discovery call, for those of you who are in the membership, we actually have a sales call script, and it's really good. So you'll follow the sales call script in there. But you need to know what they're doing now, why they booked the call first, what they're doing now, and then how you can, whether they see value in your offer before you make the actual ask. So the value part is really important. So you can't just tell them all this stuff about your offer. You need to ask, okay, tell them a little bit about your offer, and then be like, okay, do you think your employees would find value in that? Do you think the event would find value in that? And then when they say yes, then you say, okay, great, so this is the price. A lot of people say they find value in things until they learn the price. Yeah, they'll be like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that. That sounds amazing, that's exactly what I need. Oh my God, like, I cannot tell you, people come up to me, they're like, Ashley, you're my coach. I'd be like, looking at my client roster, like, I'm actually not, but. It's like, is this an aspirational conversation? I'm like talking to Chris, like, did she sign up? Like, what's happening? And literally it's like, yeah, you're my coach, but like, I think they mean like coach in the head because of the book and the podcast. And I was like, okay, I'm cool with that. But at some point you have to pull yourself up. Because this is another thing, experts, how many of you all have aspirations beyond what you're doing now in business? You're not always gonna be available to coach them. So a part of the urgency with you selling your offers now is you are now in a season where you can sell your offers, you can do keynote speeches, you can do that. But if things work out the way you secretly want them to work out in your heart, you won't always even be doing this. You know what I mean? And so, but your clients, they don't know that, because how many of you all have told your clients that? I don't see as many hands up. Why not? Why haven't you told them? Anybody, raise your hand. Yeah.
I don't want them to think that I don't want to serve them. I still have the heart to serve them, but I want to do more.
Yeah. So I think there's nothing wrong with being honest with people and saying you have aspirations. Most people see it. So you can even use your own experience as a positioning tool. Like something like, hey, how many of you guys were with me back in 2019 when we did the first Speak Your Ready Cash event? How many of you have been watching my videos for 5 years? Haven't you seen the growth? Imagine where we'll be in 10.
Yes.
And then they can draw the conclusion like, let me get in now. Because you knew the rate used to be $30 a month. Now it's $30,000 to $100,000. In 10 years, it may be off the market. So there's nothing wrong with that. Like, the way you do it matters. You don't have to be like, she's out of here, she doesn't want to work with us. But like, definitely it's okay to forecast for them, okay? Now let's talk about sales plans. So that handles like cash infusion. Are y'all clear on that? Say clear. Clear. Let's talk about sales plans. Your sales plan, we're gonna do this real simply. Your sales plan is literally a written document that outlines what you're selling, who you're selling it to, and how you're going to sell it. What you're selling, who you're selling it to, and how you're going to sell it. what you're selling, who you're selling it to, and how you're going to sell it. And one of the things, and in your books, you guys, you all actually have an example, cash infusion strategies and all that fun stuff is in there. And we may even have, yeah, it's a lot of stuff up in here. Oh man, we totally went off script. I'm like looking at this like, oh yeah, that is good. Excellent, very interesting stuff in here. So your sales plan is what you're selling, who you're selling it to, how you're gonna sell it. So what you're selling, this is your North Star offer, or it can be one of your smaller offers that eventually will lead to your North Star offer. Every time I'm selling an offer, I do a sales plan for each launch. So like right now we're in the middle of planning Black Women Sell Live. It's in October, it's gonna be great. How many of y'all are coming? Anyone coming to Black Women Sell? Okay, good. Okay, great, I'm so excited. It's gonna be amazing. So make sure y'all book your hotels because we're almost out of the hotels. So gotta book your hotels. All right, what we're selling, right? So what we're selling, let's say it's Black Women Sell Live, our live event, which is fabulous. Who we're selling it to, predominantly Black women experts, but we do have some guys coming as well, which is dope. We always do. How are we selling it? Now, y'all wanna hear our sales plan for this? Okay. Black women sell, here, who sells events? Anyone? Okay, y'all know, events are hard to sell. So when you sell an event, typically, unless you have a reason for people to buy a ticket, they wait till the last minute. The problem with that is you have to use the money from ticket sales oftentimes to plan the event. So the only way you all are gonna be able to sell anything in your business is if you can build up buyer energy. Somebody say buyer energy. Buyer energy. Buyer energy is high energy. Someone say high energy. High energy. Buyer energy is not sad energy. Someone say sad energy. Now, this is important because a lot of y'all are coaches. Y'all probably, how many of y'all are ministers? Okay, great. You gotta be careful, right? Because when you're a minister, you can go straight into ministry and then you be leaving the event, you be feeling all good. You be like, I didn't sell a thing. I didn't make no money. But the people were blessed. Amen. The people were blessed. They were blessed. God, please provide. Okay? So like if you're a minister sometimes, if you go into ministry mode, you will literally leave all your sales goals on the table. You're like, well, it is what it is, you know? And so you're gonna have to be focused, very focused, because you need buyer energy. And what happens with our tickets for Black Women Sell Live, so we launched tickets late, and the reason we launched them late was, y'all will hear about it in this video soon, but I really launched tickets late because I went through some like traumatic stuff with like some of my clients who were sister girls. Some betrayal, some backstabbing, and I was just like, I don't know if I can do a whole event for Black women right now. And so I've known about this event for 12 months and I have not sold tickets hardcore. What we did do, because, you know, I was sad, but I wasn't that sad, is I put tickets on the backside of other products. So everyone who bought the course got a ticket. Everyone who's in the membership and did annual, they get a ticket. So we've sold hundreds of tickets that way, but we weren't aggressively selling it. How many of you have ever had like client hurt? They talk about church hurt, just talk about that client hurt, okay? Like, when you like do a lot for clients and then they totally disrespect you, it's hard. It's even harder when that line has been blurred between client and friend. And then it's even harder when it's like, dang, but I'm doing this for sisters. Like, how y'all doing me like this, you know? And then you be looking even worse because you like, if I was a man, you would have never done that. So it was all these levels that were playing in my mind. And I was just like, I just can't do it. Like, I just can't do it. And so I went to Ghana and did a sabbatical. And on my sabbatical, I was praying. I was like, God, I really got to figure out the psychology behind who you've called me to serve. And I started researching history. I started reading a book called Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. My friend gave me another book called You Don't Know the Trouble I've Seen, The Real Journey of a Black Woman Going Through Whatever. So I've been reading that. One thing about me, when I do an event and it's themed, I'm like a method speaker. You heard of method actors where they like do everything for that thing? I'm like that for speaking. So the reason I got my health together, this just tells you how geeky I am about work, was because last year's theme was Cashleets, the year of the Cashlete, and it was like a Michael Jordan theme. So I was like, I can't do an event about athletes if I'm not gonna be an athlete. So I lost all of this weight like an actress for my event. I lost 15 pounds because I was like, okay, because in my opening I had to say I've lost 15 pounds. And I was like, great, so I'm gonna train. And I take my craft so seriously that I literally lost weight for an event like it was a movie. And so for Black Women Sell Live, I'm like, I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to Ghana. And I'm gonna learn our history, and I'm gonna learn about the royalties, and I'm gonna learn about the different tribes. And then I started studying our culture, and then I also started reading the Bible, and I realized that when people would do stuff to Jesus, he wouldn't get mad at them, he had empathy towards them. And I was like, well, God, why you got empathy? They did you bogus. And he was like, I have empathy towards them because they don't realize that what they're doing is an inferior way of living. And how sad is it that they would choose inferiority over superior living?
Yes.
And so when I got that revelation, I got over my client hurt. Because I'm like, for you to be a sister, to do this to another sister, that means there is something within you that is so sick that you thought that was the best way for you to go up. And immediately after all that stuff happened, y'all, Russell Brunson had me speaking in front of 30,000 people. I got an agent, same agent as Sarah Jakes Roberts. I got a book deal pending with one of the largest publishers in the world. My business profitability went up 300%. I got rid of so many whack people that I didn't need in my life. Everything went up. And then I had this like mental breakdown about it. I mean, I was really struggling with this thing. And then I made a YouTube video about the mental breakdown 8 months later after I was healed from it, because transparency is I'm not obligated to share what I share. I only share things that I'm confident enough in that if someone were to manipulate my words or twist my words, I'm okay with it because I'm healed from that. So I do think you gotta be careful about what you share, right? So we do all this, we do this YouTube video, and I get tons of emails from people just saying how it changed their life. People are buying tickets to the event again. And then I realize, here's the strategy. Right now, our sales strategy has been we sell the membership and you get a ticket to the event. That was good. It got tickets coming in. But it wasn't a flood of sales. How many of you want a flood of sales? Say flood. Flood. Okay, the way you get a flood of sales is by utilizing a wait list strategy to sell your offers and events. So for the tour, we had a flood of sales. We sold over 100 tickets within the first hour of the tour tickets being out. How? Because we promoted the wait list for a week. So all the emails were just about the wait list, the wait list, the wait list. Text messages, wait list, wait list, wait list, and then they drop tickets. So for Black Women Sell Live, we have a content strategy, but what we're gonna do is next week, we're gonna shut off all ticket sales. And we're gonna go back to having a wait list. And we're dropping a video that will drive people to the wait list, and we're gonna run ads to the wait list. And then on the day tickets open, because we only have so many tickets left anyways, we're gonna only release that amount of tickets to the wait list, and we're gonna sell out in a day. That's the plan. So this is just a different type of sales strategy. Now, if you're selling something that you're not gonna be able to do with ads or sell it through email, then your sales strategy, your how, like I told you guys, our how, a part of it, but your how may be like, what am I going to do daily, weekly, and monthly in order to sell my offer? So daily, maybe I'm gonna go live every single day. I'm gonna send an email every single day. I'm gonna send a text message every other day. What are you gonna do daily? Weekly is like, am I gonna host an event? What, you don't wanna go live? Oh yeah, live is good. That's how we built our first 6 figures, was just lives. What are you gonna do weekly? Weekly could be something where it's like, I'm going to do a master class, or I'm going to do an event, or whatever. Monthly then could be, hey, I'm gonna host a webinar a month. We've launched every month, 1 to 2 times a month for the last 2 years. Why? Because it builds our email list. The only way you can do that though is if you're running traffic to your launches, okay? If you're selling to corporate daily, you could be pitching every single day. Even if you sell to coaching clients, you should be pitching every single day. You should be what? Pitching. You should be what? Pitching. You should be getting rejected every single day. Yeah. Because rejections are stairs. Like every no just leads me closer to my yes. So I want to get through these no's as soon as possible. Like, let me hurry up and finish that. And then you're desensitized to it. Someone said they don't like doing videos because they're afraid of going viral and getting a lot of hate and vitriol and all of that, and it really makes them nervous. Anyone feel like that? Okay. Well, it is true, like no one really likes it until you start thinking about it differently. Because now, like my videographer, Sean, he's here. He sent me a video yesterday that I posted on Instagram. I was like, oh, they're going to be mad about this. I was like, this is great. You know, Christians are the maddest people on Instagram. Isn't that weird? Like in my comments, if I have any faith-based anything, it's like, this is heresy. I'm like, is it? Sheesh. You know, so like literally, if someone is gonna be mad about, like my reels don't go viral until somebody's mad. Once I get negative comments, then I'm like, all right, that algorithm's open. They're showing this thing to everybody. Because people that know me, if they had a problem with it, they would just DM me and be like, Ashley, I don't really agree with that. And I'm like, all right, girl, tell me why. You know, but like if you're commenting publicly, it's because you're trying to get stuff on your page, you're trying to hijack the post, and that's good, that makes it go viral, so that's good. Similarly, if you don't get rejected a lot, it means you're not going for big opportunities. So if you can't tell me when your last rejection was that kind of stung, then that means you aren't going for big opportunities. You gotta get rejected. We were sending out pitches, 300 pitches a week to colleges and corporations. When we do press campaigns, we send out hundreds of pitches to the media a month so that we can get on podcasts and the news and radio, and you can literally pitch for press. You can pitch yourself for press. All of that is happening weekly. And then monthly, you want to have something that you do every month. Now, these things may be the same, but your sales plan gets more detailed. This is how, if you're sending out emails daily, you can have you can actually have a section of your emails that you are sending out, and you can then write all of the subject lines. Y'all following? So that's how you get it to be a larger document. Even for like the Resurgence tour, we had like Instagram influencers was a part of the strategy, emails were a part of the strategy, text message marketing was a part of the strategy, and that plan links to the actual text messages and emails. Why? So when we do the tour next year or we do an East Coast tour, we're just duplicating the strategy. We don't have to start from scratch. This is why you document your plan, and then you go through your plan. For my scalers and builders, you're gonna go through your plan and you're gonna say, okay, I'm writing everything out. I do the plans in our business, and then I go through and I make comment bubbles of all the people who are gonna execute the plan. I'm the creator of the plan. It doesn't mean I have to execute everything, but there are some things that only I can do. And I've been doing a better job of telling my team, hey, there's things that you can do that I can do. But there are some things that only I can do that you can't do. So you gotta let me focus on what only I can do. So you write out your plan, make your plan as big and as detailed as possible, and then you put due dates by it, and then you make your project plan. So your sales plan has all the activities you're gonna do, everything that you wanna have, and then your project plan has who's gonna do it, by when, and how, right? That's your project plan. So this is essentially how you're gonna do your sales plan. Let me see what time it is really quickly. Okay, do y'all wanna see a sample plan really quick? Yes. Okay, cool. Awesome, let me see if I can find one. My team's gonna be like, you did not plan this. So I gotta make sure stuff is not in there that shouldn't be in there. But I think it's helpful to see it, because then you all can kind of get a sense of what should be, oh good, okay. I know, right? We've been moving. Is this good?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good.
It's on time.
All right, cool. Let me see how much of this I can show. All right, cool. So this is a good one. Okay. All right, cool. So y'all can see that? All right, now this is our Black Women Sell Live marketing and operations plan. It's also our sales plan. If you look at the table of contents here, this is going to give you a lot of insight. Now, I made this myself. And what I'll do, we actually do have an offer today for someone, and maybe for like the first person I give them this. But the Black Women Sell Live marketing and operations plan, our sales plan, Operation 500. Now, Operation 500 is like our goal, because what we want to do is we want to get 500 Black women experts in the room, right? Yeah, you want to take a picture? You can take a picture of the table of contents, yeah. I appreciate y'all asking, like, she's a lawyer, let me be. Right? Okay, so strategies and tactics. Okay, so we have webinars. We could do webinars to sell the event. Email marketing campaign. This is gonna be our email marketing campaign. Then we have our social media outreach. So that's where we put what influencers we're gonna reach out to and how we're gonna reach out to them. Then we have our content creation. How many of you all know that, and this is how I do it, email marketing, right? So I'm gonna have my emails. I take those same emails and I convert them into content. I take those same emails and I convert them into short form reels and videos. I take those same emails and I figure out what's gonna be my YouTube strategy, Because instead of going live on Facebook where they don't pay me, I'm gonna go live on YouTube and get people who actually will pay, because the YouTube platform pay. And then we have paid advertising, and then look at that, live tour in July. Well, how does the tour in July sell Black Women Sell Live? Because some of you are gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna join the membership, I'm gonna get a ticket. So this all works together. Paid advertising, collaboration and partnerships. There's some people who have my audience that'll just send an email out on my behalf, who are all the people who I can do collaboration with and do partnerships with. Then engagement and follow-up. Right now, we have a post in our group where my team is tagging people every day and saying like, hey, Sarah, you're one of our most engaged people, check your DMs. So our team is sending out DMs daily to 10 people with certain discount codes, and the discount code is that team member's name, so I can track how many tickets each team member sold.
I thought that was scam.
No, that's real.
Okay.
Respond to her. Yeah, go back and see it. Go back and see it. That's a real code. You better use that code, girl. Yeah, that's a real code. Okay, so then that's that. And then direct mail strategy. Now, we're doing a really dope commercial for Black Women Sell Live. I don't know if y'all saw us in green screens and everything. We're going to be flying. It's going to be epic. It drops July 17th. That commercial, we're going to take a QR code and send out a card with that commercial on it and like direct mail people and say, hey, check your mail. So that's a part of the strategy. Social media plan, audience segmentation. So one of the things that's in here is, now what's audience segmentation? We know that we have audience members under 6 figures, 100K to $1 million and over $1 million. At this particular event, we're doing a $1 million women's brunch where it's a breakfast just for women at the event who are already doing over $1 million. So that's always cool because then we can all hang out, get to know each other, you know. And then we have a program for women over $1 million. Daily social media task. Task member 1, social media outreach. Team member 2, email marketing. Team member 3, content creation. Team member 4, paid advertising. Call to action. And then we have Black Women Sell Live offer. Most of you all are planning events, but you don't know what you're selling. So, you know, the event isn't gonna sell what you want it to sell. How many of you forget that you have people over on Threads, you got people over on YouTube, you got people, so all of these are places where we could be marketing. Because we did an asset audit, we were able to see, okay, well, if we got 4,500 subscribers on YouTube, a couple of them people could come to the event. So now the pinned video on YouTube is a Black Women Sell Live commercial. And people are literally saying, hey, I saw it on YouTube. I went to the link, I couldn't find the event. How do I get there, blah, blah, blah. TikTok, I don't know how we have 20,000 followers over there. I be forgetting I'm on TikTok. But we had one video on TikTok that went viral and we got 20,000 followers. So TikTok is just a place that I post. My primaries are Instagram though. Instagram is a primary, TikTok, Instagram and YouTube now are like my primaries. The Speaker Ready Cash page on Facebook, not just my Facebook page, but my business page. So you take inventory of that, and then Threads. So we want to have a strategy for all of these places because we have real people at all of these places. And when you see it, now you can think, okay, what am I going to do? How are we going to make this work? And what's our capacity? So the plan literally goes through all of those detailed elements. Was that good? Okay, so that table of contents that you all were able to take pictures of, you can definitely do this for yourself. I love that. I love that. Well, I think this has been incredible. And one thing that I'm going to do before we close out is this. I've never done this before. So are y'all ready? Say ready. Ready. Okay. We've never done this before. I need everyone to get their phones out. I'm going to do something brand new. I'm telling you, Dallas, I don't know what's up with Dallas. You know what? I like Dallas. We got here. The downtown looked nice. I saw the Jimmy John's. I love Jimmy John's. And I was like, you know what, Chris? We're going to stay another night in Dallas. I like it here, okay? And so here's what I'm going to do. We have 3 types of businesses in the room. What are they? Who remembers?
Grow, build, and scale.
Grow, build, and scale. Now, typically at this time, what I would do is I would make all of you guys the same offer. I would say, hey, everyone, this is the offer. I want you guys to go and buy it, blah, blah, blah. But we're not going to do that because Dallas is different, right? So I'm going to give you guys what I think you should buy based on where you're at. If that's cool, say cool. Because I realize that many times what people do is they're like, okay, I have planned to sell this, so this is what I'm going to sell. But I am really in a different seat. Let me take this shirt out because I'm like, what is happening here? Man, I need... Oh my gosh. Do not be standing that close to me. I cannot. Chris, oh my gosh, I'm so distracted now. Why does he still make me blush? Oh my gosh, that's so wild. Okay, now I don't even know what to say. Yeah, take your phones out. Right, thanks, babe. That was so great. Okay. Y'all minds ever be like going someplace else, we see your partner, you be like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait till, okay, anyways, let me get focused. All right, so here's the thing. There's 3 types of businesses in the room. We're gonna do something different that we've never done. I don't know how it'll go, we'll see. So if y'all are like, I'm gonna watch how she sells this to use this on your webinars, this may not be the thing you wanna copy, okay? Just gonna keep it real. One of the things my clients, Kara Lee will tell you, if a launch goes good, I'm gonna tell the mastermind. If a launch goes bad, I'm gonna tell the mastermind. I share all of my numbers with them after every launch. We have a launch tracker, and I literally will pull it up and I'll say, this is how many sales we made, this is how much cash we collected, this is how many people we did, this is how much ad money we spent. I go very detailed with them because I think one of the reasons people quit too soon is they don't realize how hard business is. And it's not even that it's hard, like you can't handle it, it's that you're blindsided by what you don't know. And that's what I really don't like. So with them, I will really, don't I, Carolee? Whole thing, right? Not just the big number, like this is how many sales. They'd be like, okay, but this was the cash collected. These were the accounts that defaulted. This is what happened. You know, like you need to know all the details, right? And so we have 3 different things that we're gonna talk about. And I'm gonna talk to my growers, the people who are trying to grow their way to cash / build their way to cash. Here's what I think you guys should do. We have something called the Pitch Your Way to Cash membership. Now, Chris, can you give me the workbook? One of the things that we've done is we've kind of revolutionized the way that we offer this membership. It is a 12-month program. Somebody, how many months? 12 months. Here's my question to you. Would you guys agree, this is the question my trainer asked me, would you agree to dedicate 12 months if it could change the next decade of your business? Here's what people don't know about us pitching 300 a week. We only had to do it for a year. I never had to pitch that many people again if I didn't want to. And really, after 6 months of pitching 300 people a week, and I did that for press, I did that for clients, I did that for corporate clients and college clients, that next 6 months, the first 6 months, we just pitched. So all of my growers who aren't making any revenue, this is your path. We weren't making no revenue. We did this pitch plan for 6 months. The next 6 months, we made over $110,000. All as a result of the consistent activities of the first 6 months. If you would do it for 6 months, say 6 months. But we're gonna give you a year. You wanna know why? Say why. Because life happens. And when life happens, you fall off. And how good is it gonna be to know, okay, I'm gonna fall off. That last month got me. You know, that last month got me, but I was able to rebound because I still have 12 months access to this. We used to do it where people could join for just a month and be in and out and in and out and in and out, and I realized they weren't getting transformation. There's someone in our membership, I always talk about her, Lindsay Walker, I don't know if you all know her, but Lindsay posts all the time. Any of the membership people see Lindsay's post, I see Lindsay's post, and I'm in the membership group. She posts all the time, and one of the things I really respect about her is she posts her wins and her losses. And it's so encouraging to be in a community where people feel comfortable posting both. We're in community together. I'd be like, this went good, this did not, you know? I think that transparency helps. Another reason why I want you all to post your wins and your what? Losses. Is because losses cannot embarrass you if they do not have shackles over you. Shame keeps more people broke than anything else in business. Because shame says, let me hide it. Let me look more successful. Let me not tell nobody this is going on. Let me just act like it didn't happen. Let me fake the numbers. Let me not tell the truth. That's why you got people lying about testimonials. Because they're embarrassed they ain't really got no real ones. So they just make some up. Right? That's shame. And so if you get in a community and you post your wins and your losses, now it doesn't have any hold over you, okay? And the other thing is, I'm not I've already proven my expertise, so I'm not a risk. Now, some of you may say, it is what it is at this point. So, you know, the other thing is, there's some people who are like, I don't know if I have time. How many of you are like, I don't know if I have time to do this, da 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 da. This is not a program you're learning like school, where like you're going to school to get a degree. This is more like, hey, I'm going to make money in my business by pitching. So what you're doing is you're pitching, but because I know people don't have time, do you want to know what we did? Say what? What we did was made every module less than 20 minutes to consume. Micro content. You can listen to it while you're getting ready. You could be sending out pitches by tomorrow. Not a hard choice. We're business owners. We make investments. We don't need guarantees, but you've seen the group. I've literally guaranteed that all the stuff you saw is in there. And we already have someone in the who's already in the membership? Okay, great. How many of you are sending 30 pitches a day right now? Okay, awesome, and you're in the membership. Thank you so much. Yeah, so it's great, and the community is great too. And then, can I give y'all another bonus? Say bonus. When you join the membership, you'll get a ticket to Black Women Sell Live. Now, she said, oh, I didn't know about that. Should have said that earlier. Yeah, you get a regular ticket to Black Women Sell Live. You can definitely upgrade if you want a VIP ticket. How many of you all don't know what Black Women Sell Live is? Raise your hand. Okay, she's like, what is that? Okay, can we turn the lights down or no? Okay, cool. Check this out. This is Black Women Sell Live. All right, give it up for Black Women Sell Live. So literally, 3-day in-person sales intensive where we're going deeper into sales strategies. Imagine, we went through this in like, I don't know, a couple hours. What will we do in 3 days? In addition, when you join Black Women Sell Live in the Facebook group, if you already have your ticket and you're not in the Facebook group, you'll want to get in the group. Starting July 15th, there's a weekly training by an expert on various aspects of your business. Making money from real estate, wealth building, mindset, getting your IP together, all of the things that'll help you to be in the best position to win come October 3rd through the 5th. We can turn on the lights now too. So now that's it. So who's excited about Black Women Sell Live? Several of you already have your tickets. I cannot wait. The theme this year is Black Women, the World's Strongest Superheroes. I know, right? It's giving a little adventure, okay? So definitely why we were just doing a commercial with green screens, because we have that video coming out soon. But that's kind of the theme of the event. It's going to be great. Here's what I want us to do before we go. If you can just scan this QR code and leave us a review about the conference, that would be huge. Literally, you can just scan it. It'll let you either text or do a video review. Either one is very helpful. It helps us to keep reaching people. I hope all of you had an incredible, incredible, incredible time. And here's what I'm gonna do. For the person who does the VIP day, I'm gonna give you our sales plan for Black Women Sell Live. It's like an 85-page document. So you'll get that, and you'll get that before the session, and then we'll make yours live. So that's gonna be really, really impactful. But we're gonna have a time, you know? It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. I need energy, need only good people that's around me. All the faith you can give, that's the recipe.